And welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another exciting broadcast of the CranKy Ducklings. I'm, of course, your host, VIP, and with me is the one, the only, the casting jersey herself. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Kuro to another cast of OSC King of the Hill. It's okay, it's fine, it's fine. Welcome, everyone, welcome again. I apologize for a little bit of the delayed start. On top of that, this tournament actually already started over an hour ago. So there's a lot of catching up to do. But as we catch up, we have a series already here right before your eyes, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Eternal Empire, we have the Polish Protoss player himself representing Platinum Heroes. It is Art. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. As I quickly turn on the sounds. Beautiful. So welcome, everyone. Welcome. We have been a little bit more regular with our OSC King of the Hill broadcasts. Usually they have been Wednesday nights, but this week it is on a Friday, so a little bit different. Also, you may be noticing something. This map is not a part of the regular map pool. We are back here on Eternal Empire. If you've been tuning into these OSC King of the Hill broadcasts, you would have noticed that we have two maps, I think two, maybe three maps, that are a little bit older from the previous map pools. We have Eternal Empire, and we also have Nightshade as well. So if you haven't really been active in StarCraft these past couple of years, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you may not be too familiar with these maps. It's a bit of a blast from the past. It's a little bit of a way to shake things up and to keep the map pool fresh, because when OSC King of the Hill introduced this, it was back when we were stuck with the same map pool for months on end. So this is the way for tournament organizers to mix things up a little bit, and I am very excited, especially because, I should correct this, ByuN currently is the King of the Hill. Tonight he took down, let me quickly check here, he took down Exo Striker, Honmono, and Spear. He is on a 3-win streak right now. He is raking in that money. ByuN is the previous King of the Hill from last week. He is the reigning champion, and now it's all about, can anyone dethrone him? I just mentioned we did miss out on 3 series because we were casting Master Swan Open. ByuN took down Exo Striker, Honmono, and Spear. So I apologize for not being a part of that broadcast. They were played out, but unfortunately there weren't any games, or there wasn't any casters for that. But here we are, and if anyone can stop ByuN, honestly, I think it can be Art.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry for being late, but I was just quickly trying to finish my dinner because we literally just finished another cast.
Yes, welcome Kuro, welcome. Shout out to Kuro. She was actually observing Master Swan Open before this, so she's already kind of been on that grind, has already been putting in the hours, and now we're going to go for at least another 4 hours.
You didn't have to say that aloud, you know?
You're like, when you say it, it makes it a reality. I need to stop.
Yeah, when you say it, I suddenly feel tired. It was fine before that.
Not like this. But yes, I was just kind of bringing everyone up to speed when it comes to the scores so far, when it comes to the games that we missed out on, and the format a little bit here, as these are all best of ones. You know, can anyone win a best of one here? Can anyone dethrone ByuN, especially on a bit of an older map? We do see Art going for a little bit of hallucination, but I love this from ByuN. He is going to be looking to try and intercept it. It looks like he will catch the Phoenix.
Yeah, very nice snipe for ByuN. No scouting for Art being done this time. Also, I would like to point everybody's attention to the fact that we are on Eternal Empire again.
Oh yeah.
Like, where has this map been?
I know. I miss it so much. It's so large. There are all these Zonagas. There's so much air and room to maneuver around. We do see that the drop is moving out across the map. Art is a little bit, unfortunately did miss that drop because of the Marines, and he is moving out with his Stalkers, but unfortunately he is barely missing this drop. Oof.
Yeah, the pylon does spot it though, and ByuN actually decides to stop right there and take care of that first.
Yeah, exactly. Pylon is going to go down. When it comes to the openers, by the way, I know I was talking a little bit more about the format itself, but ByuN didn't go for a Marine opener at all. He actually hasn't even been able to scout the main base. He didn't go for an SCV scout either. So he has been playing a little bit in the dark. He did open up with a bit of a more economic opener into a 1-1-1. Because of this, his upgrades are going to be a little bit late, but he's being aggressive regardless. You know, this man, he doesn't have stim, he doesn't have combat chillers, he doesn't have any upgrades whatsoever, but is applying that pressure with this drop.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like it would just be wrong for ByuN to be playing slow, you know? Like, I don't see ByuN like playing this like turtly kind of styles. Like, he is the aggressive players more often than not.
Oh yeah, and he's just ramping up that aggression. The initial Marine drop, all the Marines were able to survive for this follow-up push with this tank. And again, this is very unexpected. There is no shield battery, there is no cannon. This base is completely undefended.
Yeah, it's very negative, and Art doesn't even attempt to defend it. Instead, he's trying to take care of this Liberator, but the Stalkers are actually in the zone.
Yeah, and they will eventually take out this Liberator. Again, there is no blink, so it was a bit of a rough way to deal with it, but well worth it for ByuN. ByuN loses a Liberator, but he gets a base.
Yeah, very nicely done. I'm not sure if his Fairy is on the way right now, but he actually can stay here a bit longer because this is not a big Protoss force.
Yeah, and again, this may be because Art is unfamiliar with this map, but the production is so exposed. I mean, this is on Artosis Pylon on so much tech right now, and this is all in range of the tanks.
I was gonna say that the Medivac there is giving vision to the high ground, and yeah, all of this can be unpowered. There is a pylon on the other side of the forge, but it will only reach some of the buildings.
Yeah, again, this pylon is going to go down. It looks like the forge will remain powered, but again, losing the cyber core, losing a gateway, this all really does add up. This means that there cannot be any more reinforcing stalkers here or adepts, only zealots.
Yeah, the robotics bay is being targeted as well, so no fancy robots either. So, yeah, I guess Stalkers have to defend this, but can they?
We'll see. We do have one disruptor coming out here. Thankfully, it was able to pop out before the bay went down. Does get one over on these tanks, and because that, the tanks are going to go down on the low ground, but ByuN with the target firing, he wants that forge.
And he will get it, denying another upgrade for Art. Very nicely done, but now I think this harassment force is over, and ByuN has to move back.
Yeah, but again, really well worth it in the end. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but he was able to target fire that disruptor as well. So the disruptor went down.
Yeah.
Looking at the units lost tab, again, so many resources lost, so many buildings lost here. And Art just hasn't really been able to do anything because of it. Finally, Blink did finish, so he can be a little bit more agile, a little bit more mobile with his army. But like everything has been slowed down when it comes to his economy, his production, his army.
I mean, it does look like Art is planning something because he does have that reinforcement point in the top part of the map. So we will see if something will come from this, but the army of ByuN is right there to meet him, so I don't think he has much openings.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We just see a recoil as that was one drop does go back into the main base. Two workers are going to be going down. It looks like ByuN is going to be able to sacrifice this army, or this drop really, and it's okay because he's drawing away the attention of Art as in comes that main force. G gets called, and ByuN takes another game.
Wow. Long live the king, I guess.
Long live the king. ByuN now on a 4-win streak. I should clarify, technically 5, because he did beat Nightmare last week, and that's how he became the king. But tonight, 4-win streak,
Okay,
4-win
fair.
streak.
I do wonder how that counts, but because I know that Eddie keeps count of like the total like won games, but I don't know how streaks exactly count. Like, do they move from the previous one, or are they only for this specific weekly?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest. Eddie, if you're in the chat, let us know. Let us know if you do count games from the previous week and they kind of cross over as well for that bounty. But regardless, GG, well played. ByuN does take that game. In a pretty convincing fashion, to be honest. Like I was just really impressed with how he was able to pull Art apart with some pretty like basic units at the start of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a group of Marines, 2 tanks. Like, there was nothing too fancy about that army. It wasn't also like super early either. Like, it was just a harassment force that was, you know, properly positioned and found an opening and used it.
Yeah, really impressive play there by ByuN. And again, I also do think that again, Arch kind of rose during COVID a little bit. I mean, he was in Korea just before COVID, to be fair, but I don't know how much he played on Eternal Empire. I don't know how much that really comes back to him, because we saw that there are definitely abusable points in that map. You know, because it's so large, it's hard to have eyes on drops. It's hard to recognize where they are and when they're coming.
By the way, I just want to point out we have some banter from our next challenger in the chat, and I think that's hilarious. Our next challenger, which I will not say the name of right now, he comes to ByuN and he says, "Hi, I came to put you down once again."
The fire in the chat. Let's go. That's the thing, right? Because even though I would say, as we are getting into this lobby,
yeah, and then ByuN bans Mundes, and he's like, "No, I cannot put you down without Mundes." And ByuN's like, "I came here thinking about you." Like, this keeps going.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Again, like, it's one of those things where ByuN is a clear favorite, and in a best of series and a longer series, I think he could beat almost anyone, right? But in a best of one, upsets can happen, sniping can happen. These players that are the Eddies lining up, they all have their eyes on ByuN. They all are coming in a little bit more planned, a little bit more prepared. And on a map like Waterfall, maybe Nicoract can pull it off.
Yeah, we will find out soon enough, as we are now loaded into Waterfall. And we are looking at the base of our next challenger. Representing Psystorm Gaming, it is none other than Nicoract.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Waterfall, we have the South Korean Terran player himself representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Hello, Mr. SCV.
Oh, hello there.
Hello, second SCV.
Yeah, I guess checking out the sights of Waterfall, very pretty map.
It is very pretty, you know, the sights, the aesthetics, the vistas are all quite impressive.
Vistas.
Yeah, and I don't blame Nicoract for maybe wanting to move out here into the country.
Yeah, like, you know, settle a nice little house, like in the woods. Yeah, definitely sounds nice.
Yeah.
I mean, he will have a lot of guns in that house as well.
He will.
But
you know, urbanism and all that stuff. But Nicoract is out here out of the main base with the Proxy 2 racks. Bearing in mind that Proxy 2 racks isn't the most committed thing, but he is going to be coming in here and things are going to get real scary real quick. Obviously, Nicoract will have an advantage when it comes to these Reapers, but thankfully ByuN is going for a double gas opener, so he should be going into a factory here and not into like a fast CC.
Yeah, and he's getting a Reaper of his own as well, so he will be able to scout around and maybe notice what's going on before it actually starts to snowball.
Yeah, speaking of snowball, I didn't notice, but we do have a third ranks behind this as well, so this is very committed, very all in here for Nicoract, and ByuN again has to be careful. There are going to be a couple of periods here where he is going to be in trouble, where he is going to be in danger, when these Reaper numbers kind of add up.
Yeah, I don't want to see how ByuN reacts to this. He does have that spotter depot there, and the Reaper is moving straight up there.
Ooh, and he checks, and he does get eyes on the Raxes. He does confirm at least one of them, maybe even two. He doesn't exactly know how many there will be, but he is now preparing here back at home. I love this. He's keeping this Reaper safely in the mineral line or safely close to these SCVs so boys can be pulled to buffer and help tank.
Yeah, I mean, he's moving out now. The SCVs are helping. Factory has finished, so the Hellion will be coming out. But for now, he has to deal with his Reapers.
Yeah, exactly. And again, he cannot afford to lose a Reaper right now. Looks like a second Reaper pops out just in time again. It looks like the control is going to be good enough. ByuN hasn't lost anything, only a couple of SCVs. And again, this is okay. These are acceptable losses.
Yeah, I mean, 3 SCVs is not ideal, but I mean, for this situation, it is an acceptable loss. Already two Reapers out. Hellion is now out. And can he defeat them?
Oh my god, we shall see. It looks like ByuN commits to the fight. He's going to lose both of his Reapers. He's going to lose his Hellion as well. And Nicoract has only lost one Reaper. ByuN knows he messed up with his control. Ay.
Citizens arrest? Question mark?
Ay. I mean, right now, Nicoract is so far ahead. It looks like with the power of the boys and with the power of this one Hellion, it looks like Nicoract is going to be able to push this back. But ByuN is going to be able to push this back, but Nicoract is now ahead in workers. He has a little bit better economy right now. He wants to dive on top of the Hellion again. Ooh.
Yeah, and he snipes the Hellion. The Marine is trying to do what he can, but he cannot stop 3 of the Reapers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was able to clean up a couple more of these Reapers. The repair is okay, but it's not going to be good enough. The Hellion goes down.
Oh my god, can Nicoract do it? Is he doing it?
He's doing it right now. I mean, another Hellion's going to pop out in a couple of seconds. And if Nicoract doesn't split up properly, the Hellion volleys are going to be money shots. It looks like he's going to be able to get one of those Hellions. The rest of the boys are trying to hold on as best they can, but the boys, they're dying. And
18, 19 SCVs are down. Like even if the Reapers go down, like the losses on ByuN's side are so big.
Yeah, it was a questionable move for him to dive in with only one Hellion and with 2 Reapers. He was feeling very confident, but again, the Hellion volleys were just not good enough at all. And Nicoract, you know, he said it himself, mate. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for the throne. I am here to take down the king, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Nice control. Even got a compliment from ByuN. There you go. Nicely done.
Wow, ByuN getting done in by his signature unit, getting out Reapered. GG, well played. Nicoract is the new king.
That was a really fun series. I like that the banter was like, you know, backed up with actual game. That was good. That was very interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun that they both know each other. They both have a history, and it's fun that like ByuN is fully aware that Nicoract has the ability to do something like this and pull it off. But again, maybe a little bit overconfident towards the end there, and in a best of one small mistake can cost you.
Yeah, definitely. That's the brutal thing about best of ones, that very easily, like, you know, one mistake and it's done.
Yeah, it can be over just like that. So again, congratulations to Nicoract for taking down not just the current reigning champion, not just the king, but also a player of the caliber of ByuN. So I'm sure Nicoract is very happy with that result. And now we move over to land of Europe, as it looks like Nicoract has a new challenger.
That he does. And I'm checking out, we got an update from Eddie. Streaks count if continuous. For example, if last week's king returns to the next week, that counts. But if a king doesn't return, then the streak is stopped, obviously.
Okay. I see. Thank you. Shout out to Eddie in the chat. He is the owner of OSC and also the current admin of today's tournament. But yeah, currently the players are trying to figure out their vetoes. Again, it looks like Mindel is, you know, trying to figure out the format, just because I mentioned earlier the map pool is a little bit different.
Yeah. We have a mixed map pool here in the OSC. We have some of the current ladder maps, but we also have some of the older ones, as we did see Eternal Empire before.
Oh yeah, we saw Eternal Empire, and we'll see if we get Nightshade later on.
Oh yeah, Nightshade. Nightshade was the other one. Do we have another one, or is it just 2?
I think it's just 2.
Hold on, let me just check. Everdream.
Oh! I know Everdream because we had Everdream thumbnails for a very... I think we still have them.
We still do.
We still have them.
Those are my favorite screenshots I've taken, okay?
They're really good. Yeah. I agree. I 100% agree.
I don't know why, but like just the screenshots on Everdream just always look good.
Yeah. The angles.
There's something about the perspective there.
Yeah, the layers, the perspective. But speaking of perspective, here we go. We are diving into our next game with our brand new King of the Hill.
As a quick update, Nicoract said that Eddie said that Nicoract did take down ByuN before, and it was in King of the Hill 103.
Oh.
So they do have a history in this very tournament. But we are now looking at our new challenger, who's coming to dethrone the new Terran King. On Data C, it is the Orange Protoss, MindelVK.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of data under the sea, we have the Russian Terran player himself representing Storm Gaming. It is Nicoract. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. We're here to see if our new king, if his reign will be long and prosperous or short-lived.
Yeah, I'm like very curious if like Nicoract can like keep up the position, or if he was literally the ByuN sniper and like, that was his role for today.
Yeah, he'll go down in history as the ByuN Slayer. He reigned for a week, and
look, he did his job. Okay, he came here to defend ByuN, and he did that.
Look, I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure every other player who's lined up right now, or they all breathe the sigh of relief. They're like, phew.
Yeah.
They're like, thank God ByuN he's out. I'm sure even Art is a little bit upset. He's like, God, you couldn't have come out sooner. Like,
yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, Nicoract already putting in a lot of work already. You could argue the hard part is over, but maybe the harder part is actually, maintaining your rule, setting up a government, assigning your, your legislation and who's going to rule what. It's hard. It's hard being a king. It's hard.
It is hard. No, it can be pretty hard. But let's see how our players are gonna progress here. As so far, nothing too out of place. We did have that probe being really annoying on Nicoract's side of the map, delaying that command center quite a bit actually.
Yeah, so honestly, the probe scout was pretty important. He was able to confirm that it was going to be a 1 gas Rax expand here from Nicoract. There are a lot of Terran players that do prefer to go 2 gas and stay on 1 base a little bit longer, but Nicoract, his opener is very economic, very standard, and because of that, MindelVK can feel pretty safe about going for his own gate expand opener and, yeah, getting into at least a normal early game.
Yeah, it looks like he will be progressing with a Twilight Council, so we will see more of the ground army coming up for the time being.
Yeah, he's decided to go for that Twilight Council opener. Meanwhile, talking about a standard opener, as we are getting a bit of a pause here. Hopefully no major issues. Hopefully no latency. And I'll hold my tongue because things are about to pop off. But I'll wait a bit. Alright, here we go. Because I don't know if you noticed, Kuro, we have a proxy starport.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, look, Nicoract started with a proxy Reapers, now going into proxy starport. So I guess Peace plan for today is just proxy every game. I
mean, proxy is not a bad thing, especially because he showed a standard opener to MindelVK, so he is none the wiser right now, especially because he isn't double checking. And what's scary is that the Hellions are going to be on the way. This is for a medevac, and we're going to be seeing a Hellion drop straight into the main base. And Hellions, they can go they can get out of control if left unchecked.
Question though, how do Hellions do versus shield batteries?
That's a good question. I have to wonder if 4 Hellion shots one-shot a probe, so it's possible that they can out DPS the healing of a shield battery. Maybe it's 2 volleys. We're going to learn together.
Yeah, I don't think I see that interaction too often. But I guess we will now. The Stalkers are not in place, not in position, so they will not be able to stop this attack because they are on the front. But will the shield battery help?
That is the question. There we go. It looks like 4 volleys will one-shot a probe, so they will be able to power through the shield battery. Meanwhile, the Stalkers are going to be pulled away at the same time. Reaper comes in, so a little bit of multi-prong harassment, but it looks like, for the most part, MindelVK has help.
Yeah, as we see, 3 probes fall down, so... okay damage, I guess. Nothing like amazing, like could have been better, but the shield battery does stop a lot of damage, so... It was not easy to get any kills there.
Yeah, and there we go. The Reaper goes down as well on the low ground. Meanwhile, Nicoract isn't done. He's going for a Liberator to help support his army. He goes for a second drop here into the main base as he was able to keep all his Hellions alive, and he's getting even more pro damage done.
Yeah, nicely done, but ooh, this Stalkers almost sniped the Medivac. It barely survives as the Liberator comes in next.
Yeah, Liberator comes in, but I feel like it kind of misses opportunity. It is no longer a surprise factor. The Stalkers are already here. Blink is already done, and ooh, the Liberator's going to go down without getting any damage done.
Unfortunate, but the Hellions still live, so they can still jump in at another point.
Oh, exactly. So the Hellions still have potential damage, especially because the wall is not a wall, so the Hellions, they can go in the regular way, the standard way. They do check there is no third base, but the probe is on the way, and thankfully there was a spotter pylon, so MindelVK can shoo this away.
Yeah, the Stalkers are doing their best to do so, but I mean, I do want to keep in mind that these Stalkers being in the middle of the map means there are no forces at home to defend, but they do catch the Hellions in the end.
Yeah, and thankfully for MindelVK, this starport was a proxy, so right now it's floating, so there's no potential for a fast follow-up drop or another Liberator because of the delayed production right now. So MindelVK can feel pretty comfortable about this. He shoots everything away, and he's transitioning. Meanwhile, Nicoract did make a second starport back at home, and he wants to keep that pressure up.
By the way, Ken in the chat is raising a good point. I'm wondering if ByuN is waiting for the revive.
He could be. I mean, revives are possible. They're not always around, but they are possible. Also, my mistake, this is the medevac that survived earlier. I thought it died, but no, it didn't.
Yeah.
It went home and repaired.
Yeah, it did not die. The Hellions were left behind, but the medevac went back home, and it is repaired.
Nice, nice. So Nicoract making full use of what units he has available to him. Meanwhile, back at home, he is transitioning. He started tank production. Because of this tank production, he is completely safe against any kind of blink counterattack. So again, just trying to make sure that he's safe and sound on these two bases as he tries to distract these Stalkers with these Hellions.
Yeah, losing another Hellion there, but does not move in for a drop. And we have the Colossi on the way, we have the Thermal Lens on the way, and now Nicoract decides to attack, but by the time he reaches the base, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really concerned here, especially because of this observer from MindelVK. He sees the third base on the way. He sees the army moving out a little bit as well. MindelVK has eyes on everything right now, so he should be preparing back at home. We have some shield batteries. We have a Colossus. Extended Thermal Lance should finish up in time for this attack. We don't have a lot of gateway units though, so MindelVK is lacking a little bit in supply. So that's where I worry for him a little bit.
Yeah, that is a big problem because this Colossus has no buffer, and there are a lot of tanks in this army, so if Nicoract can set up properly, this will be a rough fight.
Yeah, it really will be. I mean, we already see one stim coming out here for Nicoract, so that's already some damage being done. At the same time, we do have that one medevac drop into the natural base. Not too many workers have gone down. Nice pull here, nice reaction, but it is costing him some Stalkers.
Yeah, and it also draws the attention of MindelVK as Nicoract is trying to set up, but actually decides against it in the end.
I think this is a wise choice. He scans, he sees two Colossus and a Warping of Zealots. As impressive as this tank count is, honestly, he doesn't have a lot to protect it, so he needs to go back home. He doesn't want to throw away his tank count.
Yeah. Instead, he decides to protect his home, and both our players are just progressing to the next stage of the game.
Boy, yeah, you know, our third base is getting up and running for both players. You can definitely argue that MindelVK's fourth is late, and I would agree with that. I think because of the aggression and because of the move out, he was a little bit scared to expand, but if he doesn't soon, MindelVK will fall a little bit behind.
Yeah, definitely. He's getting a Templar Archives behind this though, which is definitely nice versus the Biotank army. And we see ghosts on Nicoract's side as well.
Yeah, we see Nicoract taking up very nicely here on his three bases. He's looking very comfortable. Like, he's feeling comfortable to tech because he's got 5 tanks at his third base. Like, there's no real easy way to lay siege upon this area unless you have disruptors. So, again, he's feel comfortable enough to work into, you know, his upgrades, his tech as well. MindelVK finally feeling comfortable enough to expand and take a fourth.
I was gonna say, I wonder if you took a Colossus from the south and attacked the tanks, but I guess there is the sensor tower, so he would know anyway. So. Yeah, no sneak attacks there.
Yeah, this is the big advantage of Data C, is it's a very defensive map because of all these ramps and because of all these choke points. And to add insult to injury, because of this sensor tower as well, it's going to be really difficult for MindelVK to get a good angle on these tanks without the bio responding. So again, Nicoract feeling really safe. It looks like he's also going to be taking his fourth, you know, slightly behind that of MindelVK, but this is good for Terran.
Looking pretty fine, and as MindelVK does try to get some presence on the map, he does have some zealots in the top waiting for their chance, and the main army is currently in the middle of the map and trying to get that fourth base.
Yeah, he's going to be moving out. We have a War Prison behind this, so he's looking to reinforce here on the front lines. We have hit that critical mass or that sweet spot of 3 Colossus, and now it's all about disruptors. 3 Colossus, they're a nice, real, like, kind of core composition here for your army. A nice way to round it out, and already we see a cancel on the 4th.
Nice cancel there. Ooh. Oh, nice shots on the tanks. They are both very low on health. They're not sniped though, so they can be repaired. the Zealots are not moving in yet, as Nicoract is concentrating his forces on the third, and I guess MindelVK is pretty happy with this for now.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's gonna meet the army.
Oh, we do have a siege here from these tanks. We have a stim on forward as well. MindelVK slow to react.
Yeah, I mean, he does lose a bit of the army, and now the Terrans are chasing.
Yeah, exactly.
But can they fight this?
There was a lot of Novas that were kind of wasted there for MindelVK. I think Nicoract recognizes his advantage right now, especially because he's been able to keep all these tanks alive. At the same time, as he moves out, that Zealot run-by slips on in, but the reinforcements are here.
Yeah, Nicoract did leave some of the army behind to deal with those Zealots, and that should be cleaned up soon, but now the army is actually sandwiching the Terran.
Oh, exactly. Look at that. 2 tanks go down immediately here, but we have the high ground at the same time. Zealots and DTs are going for a surround.
Yeah, the tanks are all being sniped. The Novas are dealing with the bio, and I'm not sure who's gonna take this fight.
Oh my god, I mean, MindelVK is gonna just shut down this entire army. It's gonna cost him some of these Colossi. Oh, the target firing is pretty good as well, but there just isn't enough bio remaining. 10 SCVs going down to the Zealot run by earlier. I do think that MindelVK did come out on top, especially because he kept a lot of his core units alive.
Yeah, it was not just the Zealot run by in the third, there was also some units in the fourth as well, so 10 SCVs go down and this Protoss army is still at the door.
Yeah, exactly. Again, that was a beautiful kind of out-positioning there for Nicoract. Nicoract was caught unsieged, unawares. He sims on forward, and it looks like he will be able to target fire 1 Colossus and 2 Disruptors.
Yeah, the Novas are still coming in though, and there are still the DTs on the ground, so this Terran army has to be really careful about what they do next.
Yeah, we see a scan, and Nicoract recognizes that his opponent is fully saturated on 4 bases. We still have the 4th on the way for Nicoract. We can see MindelVK is far ahead in the economy, and even though both players did trade blows, MindelVK is going to have an easier time replacing his army. Meanwhile, Nicoract, I mean, the tanks that died, they're not going to be replaced.
Looks like they will not, but instead, we have a fusion core on the way.
Yeah, you love to see it. 2 more starports as well. So Nicoract is trying to transition into lib range and liberators right now, which will be ideal against this ground toss. But the production is still on the way. Ooh, Prism is going to go down there.
Yeah, that's actually surprising. MindelVK is a bit not careful enough about sieging that. But this command center looks like it will fall down. Actually does not.
Yeah, it looks like Nicoract is fast to respond here. And again, MindelVK, he doesn't want to throw away his army. He doesn't want to throw away his lead. Again, he has a very nice supply lead right now and a tech lead. He has to take things slow. You know, if he sees an opportunity, deny the 4th base, sure, go for it. But otherwise, don't commit. Uh-oh.
Ooh. Nice shots on the bio with all the Colossus, but has to be careful about all these goals because the EMP covers the whole army.
Oh my god, but you know what? The Disruptors cover the entire army of Nicoract as well. He took 3 Novas to the face and the splits were just not good enough.
Yeah, a lot of losses on both sides really, and we do have the Liberator range coming up, so the Liberators should soon come for help, but this bio army is actually looking really small now.
Yeah, like the supply for Nicoract is inflated because look at the medevac count.
Yeah.
He's
like one medevac for each like bio unit.
Pretty much, mate. Pretty much. Like MindelVK hasn't had the best opportunity to take down these air units, and that's why Liberators would be amazing. But again, they were just a little bit too late. The EPs, he wants the Disruptors. Ooh.
Yeah, he does snipe some of the Disruptors, but some of the Novas land, and now it's just Stalkers and Colossus versus Bio, and I think all of this Bio will actually go down.
Yeah, he tries to dive on the Colossus, but he just doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the DPS. At the same time, we have a DT and Zealot Warp in here at the natural. GG gets called, and MindelVK dethrones Nicoract.
So Nicoract was a ByuN sniper. I'm just saying he did say that was his goal today, and he achieved that. So
yeah.
Hey,
GG, well played, Nicoract. The TVT, the ByuN sniper, the ByuN slayer is already usurped. His reign was short because all hail the new king, MindelVK.
Yes. Oh. And we will soon find out. What will be the next? Who will be the next challenger for the throne of the OSC King of the Hill?
Yeah, who will be next? Again, very impressive showing here by MindelVK. It did feel like in the beginning, things were definitely going in Nicoract's favor, but there was that one move out in the middle of the map where his tanks were caught unsieged, and it was just not the best angle there for Nicoract. He didn't know where the army was. He wasn't expecting it to come in from behind. And that was
Yeah.
kind of the ideal fight there for MindelVK.
Yeah, it looked like MindelVK is gonna move back to his base, but he actually wrapped the right around the Terran, and that just worked out for him.
Yeah. And after that one big engagement, bearing in mind that straight after that engagement, I believe he canceled the 4th as well. It was just a little bit too much there. Like Nicoract just straight up macroing from that point wasn't going to work. He needed to do something crazy, like go for mass drops, go for mass harass, do whatever he could to just keep his opponent at home and keep him busy while he tries to work up towards that starport, towards those liberators. And unfortunately, he just couldn't really pull it off.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Meanwhile, we are still waiting for our next challenger. As is MindelVK.
Oh yeah.
Also chilling in the chat.
He is chilling there. Something that I've noticed is that we haven't had a Zerg player yet. Looking at the entire bracket, it's just been Terrans and Protoss. So,
do you think it's time? Do you think it's time for the swarm?
For Mixu?
Yes, I've been calling him the swarm.
for the Finnish phenom, mate. Let's go. He is, of course, the prodigy of Cyril. You know, Cyril has been raising him since he was but a boy. And I have
we call that the real story. Sure.
Let's go. He has been training for this. He has been looking at that chair, at that throne. He wants it, mate. He wants it because we have confirmation. It is going to be a Zerg player. It is the Swarm.
Look, I guessed it. What do I get? Eddie did not hear me. There's 2-minute delay, so there's no way Eddie picked this on purpose.
You get to cast a Zerg player. That's what you get. That's your
I mean, fair.
That's your treat.
I'll take that.
There you go. So for those who weren't here last week, Mixu, I believe, was the best performing Zerg player last in the previous OSC King of the Hill.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yes. Because of DreamHack, of course.
So 3 weeks ago. It was the 105, I think, where Mixu had a good run. The next one, it wasn't so good. Like, he still showed some good games, but like it wasn't so impressive. But the one in 105 was really good. Yeah,
if you want to tune into that VOD, it is currently up on YouTube. I believe it was published this morning. So OSC 105, yes, Mixu took down Forjumi, took down Bistork, James, and 3-Point. In the end, he fell to Cristiano, but in a very close game as well. So Mixu is an amazing player. You know, when it comes to Zerg representation, he isn't a bad player here in Europe.
Yeah, and he has this kind of like as I said, like I do call him the Swarm Slayer because he has this style of like, you know, just slowly overwhelming your opponent and just, you know, taking over the whole map. Like, he's not the kind of like cheesy Zerg or like very rushy Zerg. He's more of that like slow and like macro kind of like.
Oh yeah, more slow, more methodical, and we'll see if we can see that and find that here as we are loading on in. Oh boy, as again, there's a new king here, a new reign, a new monarchy. Protoss.
From the line of Protoss.
The reign of terror has begun. The first Protoss king all tournament.
Shaking my head. But anyway, we are now looking at our current king. King. Sitting here on his throne in the top right of Tropical Sacrifice. The orange Protoss. Representing himself is MindelVK.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the Finnish Zerg player himself representing Kova Esports. It is Mixu. Also, to a couple of people in the chat, yes, of course, Mindel is not on Shopify Rebellion. It was a late edit to that team, so I apologize if there was any confusion. He is teamless.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I always press reset match data, so there's no leftovers.
It's all good. So we are now getting into our next series here. Oh boy, the first Zerg to rock up in OSC King of the Hill 107.
Light, have you noticed something?
Oh?
It's a ZVP, and he was able to take a natural.
True.
What do you do with this?
Oh my god, he was a little bit too quick. He takes his natural, something that is unheard of, something that barely happens. So a nice little start here for Mixu as he goes for a hatch gas pool. Nothing crazy, you know, pretty standard opener here from our finished Zerg player. Across the map, likewise, you know, we don't have an early forge or anything like that. There's no probe on the map for any kind of proxy pylon. So far, everything is looking pretty straight up, pretty normal, and we're gonna see that at least until the first tech structure gets thrown down.
My favorite part is that probe just, you know, tasing the hatchery. It's like, why? Why do you do this? Like, I know that this is just to annoy your opponent because he keeps getting the notification about it, but it's like, really?
Yeah. I mean, again, you know, why not be as annoying as possible? There aren't going to be any links coming out, and the ones that do come out are going to be really slow as well. So MindelVK, he can chill here with his probe, get an eye on any kind of fast third base or drone moving out. Something that I find really interesting is that MindelVK started a Zealot, and he will actually finish the Zealot here at home.
That is interesting considering he fully scouted Mixu, so he knows that nothing tricky is coming his way.
Yeah,
but I guess he wanted to be extra safe.
Oh, this isn't extra safe. This is extra greedy. Both, to be fair. Okay, so MindelVK, one, he chose to make his tech a part of the wall. Usually, players will hide it in the main base, but he doesn't want to hide it. He wants to be as efficient as possible. He wants to fully wall off, and he's saving his gas by going for that Zealot first, instead of waiting for an Adept or a Stalker.
Okay, I see that. And
there we go.
Yeah, we do have that +1 upgrade on the core instead of the warp gate. So we are going straight air.
We are. To be fair, Mixu doesn't know that this is +1 air. Because we don't have warp gate research yet. Like, it would make total sense if this was warp gate. So Mixu is a little bit in the dark right now until he gets eyes on not just this Stargate, but the second Stargate that I imagine is going to be coming.
Yeah, I guess it will be, as this overlord is just flying over there next to the base.
Yeah,
I still find this pillar the weirdest one.
it is a really weird pillar. But I also love this from MindelVK because he's selling a story right now. Like, especially going for a sentry follow-up. You typically don't open up sentry unless you're going to be going for or like setting up for like a soul train push or some kind of like ground robo push. So right now Mixu, he's just in the dark even further, even with this void ray coming out.
Like, we're going straight for fleet beacon. We're not stopping.
Yeah. I mean, this is what should be happening here for MindelVK, especially after getting +1 range. So again, Mixu's gonna have a hard time getting into the main base, which is where this tech is being hidden.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on Mixu's side of things, we do have the 4 bases now. And yeah, just, you know, getting his economy up, getting his roach warren up, which it's not gonna help him fighting an air army, but it may help him fight the bases regardless.
Yeah, exactly. I worry that maybe he hasn't been able to piece what little he has seen together. And to be fair, it's really difficult. But here we go. He sees a massive scout. This was a mistake from MindelVK. Making the carrier as a part of the wall. The Link sees everything. Mixu knows exactly what's going on.
I just like to imagine that the Links like jumped in, that they got scared and started running away.
Yeah. Mixu, like the Link's like, ah!
That's what it looked like.
Pretty much.
Because they like immediately jumped back.
Yeah. Like, again, even God, it's just. I understand the logic behind throwing down the Stargate here as a part of the natural, but this is a major flaw in this build. Because of that, Mixu immediately cancelled +1 melee. He started up +1 range instead. He's producing as many queens as he can to hold against the first push. Because again, 2-3 carriers can move out across the map. They can take down an unsuspecting zone.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately for Mixu, he was making queens already before that, so he does have a few already prepared. But they may not be enough for several carriers, you know.
Yeah, here we go. The carriers are moving out. The Lings were here just to confirm the move out as well. Again, so this timing, because this is like as fast a carrier as you can get, if they move out, and if this was unscouted, this could kill a couple of queens. It could even kill a base. But because Mixu's fully aware, like his queens are in position, he's got spores, these carriers shouldn't do much.
Yeah, and the Spire is now on the way as well, and Mixu is keeping a close eye on the map as the carriers are slowly moving into the third base.
Yeah, here we go. The queens are repositioning. Now, what's scary is that the queens are headed towards the third, and these carriers can go straight into the main instead, but he was already able to split up his queens. He does have queens both in the third and the main. Again, should be fine.
Yeah, have some Spore as well that will help out with these interceptors, although they do get focused pretty easily.
No transfuse. The three queens here, neither one of them had enough energy for transfuse, so it looks like MindelVK is finding damage, is finding a lot of damage, actually already getting two queens.
Yeah, nicely done by MindelVK, and now he can munch on these drones and overlords actually, because the queens are all in the natural.
Yeah, exactly. The queens are really struggling to keep up here, and MindelVK was able to find a lot of damage. He got a Spore, 2 queens, 5 drones, and he still is not done.
Yeah, the carriers are not in danger whatsoever. There's still a lot of interceptors. The queens are trying to catch up, but they're having a hard time going from one base to another.
Yeah, exactly. They just can't keep up here, and 2 more carriers are rocking up, and this is getting a little bit out of hand. The Spire literally just finished, so Corruptors can come out and they will stop this, but before that happens, it looks like Mixu has to give up this base. Oh,
yeah, and the Corruptors will pop out at this base, which is actually danger for them, because if they are just, singled out, they will be taken down.
Oh god, it's so many drones. The target fire was insane there from Mindel. He was more queens are pulling left and right. Even if the Corruptors come out, I think it's just gonna force a recall. Mindel can still keep all this alive. Oh.
I don't even know if he has to recall. Will we have enough Corruptors to actually defeat this army?
I mean, they're trickling in right now, and there we go. The Corruptors being focused one after the other as well. This is just... As a Zerg player, my heart is breaking a little bit. It looks like one carrier may go down, but doesn't even go for it.
GG is caught, and MindelVK does keep his throne.
GG. Well played. MindelVK will retain his throne here. Despite being scouted, we saw that Mixu wasn't able to split up his queens correctly there. The queens that he did have in the main didn't have a transfuse, and that was huge. As soon as Mindel recognized that there was no transfuse, he saw his win condition. He just went for it, and he was able to just dance between the bases, and GG.
Yeah, he saw the opportunity and he took it. And once he settled in the middle of the base of Mixu, he did not have to go back at all. And even if these Corruptors started taking down carriers, there were Void Rays behind them just in case to deal with them. So yeah, that was a very strong position there from MindelVK.
Very strong, very strong. Oh my god. So yeah, Mindel just really showing that he's not just adept at the PvT matchup, but also against Zerg as well. Very strong showing here.
Oh. Mixu shows up in the chat. I hate carriers so much.
I smudge, puppy. So I know my heart was breaking as well as I was watching that. Less than 3, Mixu. Less than 3. Smudge. Yeah. Unfortunately, despite seeing it coming, again, he just wasn't able to prepare in time. In a very high stress, high intense situation where things can snowball really quickly, as we saw. Oof.
Yeah. But that means that someone else will have to take Mixu's place as the new challenger. And who do you think it's gonna be?
Oh, that's a good question. We've gone through a lot of players. There's still a lot of Polish Protosses left.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I just saw 2 different Polish Protosses go online at the same time. So I don't know. Just saying.
There's a decent amount of them. I can see Papi here in the chat. I can see Gung Fu Banda. I don't know if he's an OSC Elite member. Baby Marine as well.
I saw Gerald before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there are some options there, definitely. And I'm sure Eddie will let us know soon enough who the next challenger is gonna be.
It looks like we have a challenger, and it is going to be NoMercy.
Oh, interesting. NoMercy, a member of Sentex, I believe. A bit less known player, but this is open to OSC Elite members, so you don't have to be, top 16 player in the world to participate in those.
Yes.
You can still try your best.
Exactly. Doesn't matter your level, you can participate. He is more of an amateur player, but a strong player nonetheless. Oh boy, and you know, it is still one of those things where you can cause upsets here. You can make something happen.
I mean, we do have to remember that this is a best of one. So in best of one, literally anything can happen. So I guess we'll just have to find out if NoMercy has if NoMercy has some strat prepared. As I just looked at his name, and his name in the game is No Money. I just looked at the name. I was like,
smudge. Oh boy. Okay, well, whether he has no mercy or no money, we'll see. We'll see if it's gonna be enough to take down Mindel.
I guess life has no mercy.
No meaning
on him because he has no money. I don't know. Look.
Very doomer, very doomer. But here we go. We're diving into our next series, our next best of one.
Yes, we are. And we are looking at our new challenger in the bottom right side of Moondance. It is the Blue Terran from Germany, I believe. Representing Sentex, it is NoMercy.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Moondance ESL, we have the Orange Protoss player, representing himself. Currently up to currently the reigning king. It is MindelVK. Honestly, a bit of an unsuspecting ruler here. Out of all the players, I'm surprised that outside of ByuN, he's the only one who's been able to maintain his leadership, his throne.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. It's interesting that Mindel is being able to keep his streak going. Although I have heard that he is a strong player in the European region, so you know he's not someone to underestimate.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he's not the most well known. I mean, he's teamless as well, right? So he's a little bit of an underdog. He's a little bit of a dark horse. But I mean, it's why tournaments like this are a really good avenue to really prove your mettle, to really make a name for yourself. You know, to kind of ingrain your name in the history books of King of the Hill.
As we do see this probe of MindelVK checking the back base, making sure nothing out of ordinary is going on.
Yeah, and MindelVK is going to be in the dark right now, so no money. He goes for the full wall of here. He did open up double gas, and the scary thing is that MindelVK doesn't know this. It could be a one gas and a CC on the high ground just to eventually float it down just to be safe, or it could be a double gas opener, and we can see that, oh, it isn't just a 1-1, it is a factory straight into a second Rax as well.
Yeah, so 1 plus 1.
1 plus 1. Yeah?
2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh no.
Send help. SOS.
The numbers, they're getting too high, Kuro. They're getting too high.
Look, this is what happens when I have to stream with Stick for 4 hours, okay?
The brain is gone. Oh no.
Yeah. It's jelly now.
But yeah, this is very aggressive here from from NoMercy. So he is showing NoMercy to his king right now, and Mindel again is trying to play this safe. He's still in the dark. He was sending out a couple of probes to see if there was a proxy. One of the probes did get caught out by this Reaper, and at least he is getting a safety shield battery here at the natural.
Yeah, it does look like MindelVK is gonna play similar style than versus Nicoract, already getting his Twilight Council, so probably going into Blink once again. And we'll see where he will go from there.
Yeah, it's all about this probe and about whether or not this probe can scout what's going on, or if it gets found out and it gets shut down. The Reaper across the map did go down as well. Looking at the vision here of our Terran player, he did indeed see the Twilight Council, so he knows that Blink is going to be on the way.
And it looks like NoMercy actually decides to rally straight into the base of Mindel, and we'll see what is gonna come up from that.
Yeah, he's waiting for any kind of scouting unit to come up this ramp. Unfortunately, he doesn't know that there's a probe here at the natural, and this is important because the longer this probe is here, the more MindelVK knows this is a one base all in. Like, there is no natural period. I know to take this seriously, and I hope he throws down a second shield battery. I hope he throws down a secondary pylon. He is working on his production, but right now he has very little to defend.
Yeah, I mean that pro definitely should tell him that something is going on here. That the base is still empty. I don't think the units themselves are in the vision, but yeah, he definitely smells something fishy.
Yeah, the units were not in vision of this probe, but we have a second shield battery on the way already. We do have 2 more gateways finishing up, so we're going to have 3 gates for production. He's going for the Observer first, not the Immortal, so unfortunately he's going to have a little bit less firepower. But again, these are vanilla units, so MindelVK can still micro his heart out. Oh.
Yeah, he will try to do so. Oh, actually sniping the first tank already, which is really nice for him. Was it a tank? It was a Cyclone, sorry.
Yeah, honestly, that was an amazing pickoff, and without the Cyclone already, a lot of this power is now gone. We do have an overcharge being forced, though. Looks like all of these Stalkers are going to survive, and the repairs were good enough the tank survives as well.
Yeah, the blink just finished, so now MindelVK has this micro potential in his Stalkers. The overcharge runs out, though, so has to be careful about his energy.
But he does have to be careful. You know what? A second tank is going to show up, and he's slowly leapfrogging forward. Meanwhile, Blink did finish up, and he wants that tank.
Ooh, losing a lot of Stalkers though. He does snipe the tank, but now he has barely any units to defend.
Yeah, the boys have to be pulled right now. He only has 3 Stalkers to his name. He has a 4th Stalker on the way, but every single probe is going to go down. To be fair, this is okay. The probes don't matter right now. MindelVK only has to live.
He does have a lot of shield batteries to back him up, but only 4 Stalkers against this whole army. I'm not sure if he can hold this, actually.
Yeah, the natural has been broken. 3 Stalkers will survive, but again, the natural is now compromised. Meanwhile, we do see MindelVK is trying to set up back at home. He has an Immortal. He's going actually for a little bit of a surround.
Yeah, he's trying to do so, but the Stalkers are starting to fall. The Immortal is being damaged as well. Man with Gun does not stop there. And, I don't know, it is close.
It's really close. The boys are being pulled again. He wants the Immortal so bad. It looks like he will get the Immortal in the end. He lost the tank in the process, but this Medevac is doing so much work. The Marines are going ham here on every single one of these units. And again, with the reinforcements, I think NoMercy, no money. He's kind of doing it, but the reinforcements.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. The tank survives. There are SCVs there to repair it. And the last units of MindelVK are starting to fall down. But the tank is down, and now the Zealots are dealing with the Marines, so this is still very close. It's unit by unit.
It's still very close. We only have 2 Stalkers, though, and it looks like, again, no money, no mercy has done it. No crown, no throne, he says, as he dethrones MindelVK, and he is our new king.
I guess, after this tournament, he will have to change his name to Some Money.
True. Does he have a Wikipedia page? Does he have any money to his name? It's possible that
Let me check.
This may be like his first earnings.
I don't think so, but let me check. I know there is a tool to do that. Hold on. Be right back in like 10 minutes when I find it.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because I believe NoMercy, he doesn't have a Wikipedia page. He doesn't have
No, he doesn't. But there is a way to check that.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Don't worry about me, just looking stuff up.
Yes, as Kuro looks things up, again, I am very impressed here by our Terran player. Mindel had eyes on things. He knew that something was wrong. Didn't know exactly what was coming his way, but he was preparing at home defensively. We saw he had a really good start by shutting down that first Cyclone. But he dove on that second tank, and he lost a lot there in that exchange. He lost a lot in that engagement. You can definitely argue that he should have waited to use his overcharge in that moment and not use it prematurely when he did dive on that tank. And even then, maybe should have waited a little bit longer. Maybe he should have been a little bit slower here because, again, it didn't matter if his natural was broken. Like, he needed to slow things down. GG. Impressive.
Okay, so according to Wikipedia, obviously that's the data that is on the Wikipedia, NoMercy has 0 earnings.
Yeah, there you go. That's why his name is No Money. He has made literally no money in StarCraft until tonight.
Yeah, now he's gonna make some because every map that you win in OSC King of the Hill is a little bit of prize pool. Each map is how much exactly? 750. 750 for each map.
750, not bad.
Hey, nothing.
No, I'm just messaging him in game. Oh god. So
you took my joke. It's always someone taking my joke, and
look,
then like
you had to be fast. You have to talk to the players. Okay, you got to talk to them. Oh god. But yeah. You know, it is a really nice earnings here already for NoMercy. We'll see if he can keep it going.
I just reminded of the meme that we have pinned in the general chat in our Discord, where it's CuKu, where it's my icon, it's my joke, and then it's CuKu, it's the kid who repeated it louder. God, every time.
It's like everyone in the chat knows it's your joke. Everyone in the chat knows. Everyone knows.
Sure.
Oh boy. So we are going to be having a new challenger here. Who's it going to be? We'll see. So far, I'm not too sure. Beard Man on Starcom. Who is that? Do we know that person?
I don't know. I think I've heard that name.
I'm pretty sure it's an alias.
It may be.
Find out.
Hold on, let's try Ali Gulag. What does Ali Gulag tell me?
Oh, that's Kaz.
Oh, the discuss. Interesting.
Ah.
Yeah, he's been chilling here for a while though, so I don't know if it's gonna be him.
Okay. So it looks like Eddie is letting us know to wait a moment before we get someone else out here. Looks like he's giving them a little bit of time to respond before moving on to someone else in the queue.
Yes, indeed.
Mate, they're afraid. The people, you know, they want mercy, and they're not gonna get it. So may have to go back.
Spanmeister, I don't know. In the chat says that they have 116 earnings, but it doesn't show up on Wikipedia. So what tournament is it?
Oh, yeah, we'll have to.
Because you know, the earnings on Wikipedia only show if the tournament is on Wikipedia and is, you know, assigned, unless there is a bug, which is always possible.
It is always possible. Let us know if you have a little bit more insight. Obviously, you can't post links in the chat, but if you let us know, like maybe the tournament, maybe there was because I know NoMercy's from Germany, maybe from what's it called, the German,
like there are some local
team.
tournaments.
Yeah, what's it called that Phoenix was in?
Which one?
Leipzig.
Yeah, but it's specifically Leipzig, like from that city.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, there are like those local tournaments, like not even local. Like you have the Maralekos is making tournaments as well, but I think those are on Wikipedia. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, there are all these like different smaller tournaments that don't always get on Wikipedia because, you know, nobody has submitted the information. But hey, maybe you can add them.
Maybe you can add them. Maybe, you know, it is open to.
They have prize money.
Yeah, Wikipedia is open for anyone to edit, so anyone can get involved. I'm just catching up in the chat as well. Mixu's smudging a little bit in the chat. Just get 12 queens and 3 spores on both sides forehead. I know it's hard, puppy. It's hard. I know. Smudge. Oh god. But also for not a Smile, because Smile has been up for 24 hours and he should be going to bed. I've seen he's been active in the chat, but
does Smile ever sleep? Has he slept since Wednesday?
I think Smile is the most degen person in all of Latin America. I think. Wait. I think
that's a strong title.
Oh, it's
like, there's not contenders there.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
I think there is no other like Smile. You know, Vortex he can try, but I do think
I mean, when you're competing with the likes of Chaos Fate, then like, I mean, that's a strong title to add.
That's a different kind of degen though. That's
It is. So hold on.
Chaos Fate has its own issues.
Okay, let me check this link.
We warned you, Papi. We warned you.
Hold on, I can still see it. It's fine.
Player notability checker.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, but it didn't search for me.
Oh yeah. If you click run query and if you scroll down, it says 10 notability points, 9 tournament placements, and it shows you earnings.
Okay, question. I did the exactly same thing where I tapped NoMercy and it said 0.
Interesting. I wish it linked you all the tournament placements.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Would be nice.
I guess you can just. I mean, you can always search like what pages the name comes up on, but like this is a slow way.
Yeah, yeah. More manual. But speaking of manual, it looks like we have an opponent. It looks like someone has risen up. You know, who will contend against NoMercy? The crowd was silent, and then one man speaks up. One Protoss player from Alpha X. Also from Germany. A kinsman, papi. A kinsman.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I'm referring to Spatz.
Yes. It is going to be Spatz, and they are currently doing the vetoes and picking the maps.
Not to be confused
Or
with
the map.
stats.
Not to be confused with stats.
Mhm.
Not to be. I don't know. I was like, not to be confused with. No, actually, no. But he does have. I think he has a hero portrait, don't he? Hold on. What portrait is that?
I think that's hero.
Yeah, that's a hero portrait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I have seen him in the hero Discord. So he is a fan.
There you go. There you go. Spatz, aka Spaz. Apparently, he did go for a name change. I do remember a Spaz from back in the day. Do recall.
Yeah, he was originally using Spaz, but you know, it has different meaning in different languages. He didn't exactly like it, so he changed it.
Yeah, I mean, Spaz, I guess, can be short for like spastic, I guess, which is like crazy. I don't know if there are other meanings. Maybe there are. I don't know them. Regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I remember like seeing something like that. That was the main reason why he slightly changed his name.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh. But regardless,
I do wonder if I should read it in German though. Then should it be Spatz?
Yeah, Spatz.
Because it's TZ, so it's like C. Is it? Never mind. It's okay.
What?
Don't worry about it.
What are you saying right now?
Don't worry about it. English does not know what the real C sounds like. It's fine. But anyway, we are here once again with our current reigning king. This time on Nightshade of all maps. We have the Blue Terran from Germany. He has no mercy, but also apparently no money.
Oh.
That was it. That was the intro.
God damn it. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Nightshade LE, we have the German Protoss player representing Alpha X, the contender. It is Spatz.
Look, it's not my fault that players use this kind of names, okay?
Fine.
Also, Spameister thanks. I do think that's the issue, where sometimes it doubles input for some reason, and it bugs the thingy out. But we see a bug on this map. I mean, it's not a Zerg, but something is out of place on this map.
Yes, so a couple of things here. We are on Nightshade, a very old map from a couple of years ago, so another blast from the past. It's a beautiful map. It's quite dark. If I remember correctly, I think this is one of the maps that they had to lighten because it was so dark when it came out.
It might have been.
Yeah, I remember there were a couple of issues with some of those maps in the map pool back in the day. But Spatz is going for a proxy gateway. One at home, one across the map. This opener is designed to punish and just brutalize low ground expansions. If no money went for a single gas racks into CC, and it looks like that is what he's doing, but his CC is safely on the high ground. There we go. Yeah, so he's playing it safe, so it won't be cancelled.
Yeah, there you go. So that's nicely done from him. The wall is a wall, so the stalker should not be able to get in. And we have a marine first, actually, it looks like.
Yeah, it is on the wrong side of the wall, though, so I'm a little bit concerned about that marine. We do see Spatz scouting around the edges of the map, wanting to make sure he doesn't get proxied or anything like that, because, again, Spatz doesn't know what the opener is. Just like last game, right? It could be a one-base all-in. You know, it could be a Rax, it could have been double gases, it could be into a factory, into another Rax, right? Just like what he did on Moondance. So Spatz has to try and piece it together. He walks up with his first Stalker, kills the Marine, and he is in range of that CC. Uh-oh.
Oh, and the SCVs are actually moving out to fight this, but a lot of them will fall down to the Zealot.
Yeah, this is already a lot of damage being done here by Spatz, by this proxy. The first Zealot is going to go down, but at the cost of 5 SCVs, and the wall is not a wall. This is too much damage.
Yeah, and the next Stalker is just coming in. The bunker is not gonna finish, and SCVs are trying their best, but a lot of them are gonna fall down.
Yeah, exactly. This is just not working out at all. Like, this has already paid for itself. We can see NoMercy already falling far behind in those workers. Like, I was really proud to see that he did go for that CC on the high ground, but alas, unfortunately, he wasn't able to really confirm what was going on. He wasn't able to scatter across the map, and he is being punished hard for it.
Yeah, indeed. This Widow Mine will not even get a shot, just get straight sniped, and there's another Stalker walking in. The Marines are trying to do what they can, but they will take down one Stalker, that's it.
GG, well played. Spatz able to fight back here, able to take that crown from his countrymen. NoMercy, again, very impressive that he was able to take down MindelVK, but was a short-lived time on top of the hill.
Yeah, it looks like we're not getting very long streaks this edition. We had a bit of a streak from ByuN, but other than that, it looks like we're mostly changing the kings quite often. And thanks for reminding me, baby links. It should be Spatz.
There we go. Spatz. There we go.
Spatz.
Oh,
Look,
boy.
I actually did learn German for 6 years, but don't tell anyone.
Oh no, the secret is out. But yeah, that was just a solid game there by Spatz. Unfortunately, NoMercy, his response was really shaky. It was really unlucky that the Marine was on the wrong side of the wall, by the way. If that wasn't the case, I'm sure he would have been able to micro backwards. The wall would have been up and running. He would have been able to get a higher Marine count, get a bunker up. Like, his response could have definitely been cleaner. It looked a little bit panicked there by NoMercy.
I mean, yeah, he just was not prepared. It really came down to that. And then Marine on the other side of the wall, it just all snowballed.
Yeah, you could argue that when you go for a build like that, maybe you should not try and skip your SCV scouts, just to get an eye on what your opponent's doing and be a little bit better prepared against something like this. Yeah, it can always be a little bit difficult when you're up against a player that has the potential to be cheesy. So, bit of a feels bad, man. But with that, we now once again have another Protoss King, and who can stop him? Something that I'm a little bit saddened by. We still haven't had a Zerg King.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Mixu did try his best, but he was not able to take the throne, so we're still waiting for a Zerg King. And do you think we might get him now?
Oh, we may, because we have a teammate coming in from Southeast Asia. It is going to be Demi.
Yes, indeed. So another Zerg coming in, and we'll see if Demi can take down the Protoss and become the first Zerg King today.
Yeah, Demi, he's honestly a really strong player. You know, I remember for the OSC qualifiers, like we were praising him, we were kind of hyping him up as one of the favorites in the region. Unfortunately, he did fall short in those qualifiers, but he is still here. He is still competing. He is still looking to try and prove himself and, again, show his worth. And I do think that these best of ones, these King of the Hills, are a really good avenue for that.
Yeah, I mean, look. See, this is a great deal for players in general because you play one game, right? If you lose, then, I mean, it takes like what? 20 minutes, half an hour, like max 1 hour. There are rarely longer games than that. And if you win, you earn some money for every map you play. So I think that's a pretty good deal.
It's pretty good. it's pretty good, not gonna lie. And we already have had some upsets today, you know. Again, Nicoract taking down ByuN was massive. NoMercy taking down MindelVK as well. Like, there's been a lot of really interesting results here, really interesting plays as well. Anything can happen in a best of one. Of course, that does go both ways, but you know, for a player like Demi to go for a solid run here, I do think that it is possible.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Demi always impressed me with his like defensive skills, where a lot of times he would like defend like early, all sorts of like early cheeses with like minimal amount of units, like minimal number of units. So I can definitely see him being pretty strong in this, like, best of one format, because he's not easily surprised by that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We have seen a lot of aggression really succeed here tonight in these best of ones. But like, if you're known for a more defensive, more macro style, then yeah, that can favor you here. It does sometimes make you a little bit predictable, don't get me wrong, and players can abuse that at times, but I don't know how familiar these players are with Demi. They are from different regions. Demi, he does ladder on Europe, but I don't know how often. So yeah, I do think that this is going to be a pretty good series.
So, Emperor Fubu, I have one sentence for you. Ich bin heute nicht vorbereitet.
Oh.
Do you know what that means?
Rap God Kuro coming out here. Let's go. What bars are you spitting, Kuro? What's going on?
It literally means I'm not prepared today. That's not this. This was like, I remember when I was in secondary school, like that was the one sentence that they like forced everyone to learn, because otherwise, like if you were asked by a teacher, you could like say that like you're not prepared today. So like I think you had like 2-3 days a year, I think, something like that. But you had to say it in German to get that free pass.
That's
so everybody learned that one sentence.
That's an interesting phrase for them to drill into school kids' minds. I am not prepared for today.
It wasn't really like to drill, but it was more like, to force them to learn something.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
like,
though.
Force them to say something.
Like you say, it's not really. You say it's not really to drill, but you remember it. Like,
Yeah. No, I'm saying it's like the purpose was not that sentence. The purpose was them saying something in German, so they actually practice.
Oh boy. There we go. Oof. So yeah, we are going to be getting ready for this. Looks like the players are still conducting their vetoes, still trying to figure out what map we're going to be playing on. So it's going to be a little bit before we get ready here. But I do look forward to this just because obviously we're a little bit biased here when it comes to Zerg players, and I was really excited. We were both really excited to see Mixu. It's a bit of a shame how he was forced to bow out.
Yeah, definitely a very unfortunate game with that full-on Skytos that I feel like we don't see as much anymore after all the patches, but apparently it still does work, and you can apparently rush carriers.
Yeah, it's something that we don't see often anymore, and it's something that I hope we never see again today. I never want to see it again today, but we'll see, as it looks like the lobby has been made, and we are getting ready for our next game.
Indeed you are. We are loading to the inside and out, and we will see how this Alpha X team kill will go, because we do have both players from the same team.
True, they are from the same team. Because of that, they, I'm sure, have played with each other before in team leagues alongside each other. They have been able to watch each other's play. So how will that come into this game?
Percival, I was not prepared for the level of German. Look, I said 6 years, okay? I wouldn't say I was fluent, but I knew how to speak. But that was long ago. But anyway, that was there, and we are here now on Inside and Out, looking at our Zerg player, the Red Zerg from India, the Shark of the Sea. Representing Alpha X, it is Demi.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the German Protoss player himself, the current reigning king, representing Alpha X as well as XCJ Hero. It is Spatz. Or Spatz. Spatz.
What does Spatz mean?
That's a good question. Don't know. Does it mean anything at all?
I'm gonna look it up.
Go for it.
I feel like it does, but I'm not sure.
So far, we do have a standard opener here. Demi very quick to get his expansion on the low ground, so he has been able to take his natural here on Inside and Out.
I remember right. Spatz is a sparrow in German.
Oh. I would love an ID of a player called Sparrow. I love that.
I mean, look, Spatz also sounds good for a Sparrow, considering how hyperactive they are.
True, true.
That sounds a lot like they're chirping.
Yeah, you're not wrong. No, that's really cool. Thank you for the fun facts, information fairy Kuro.
You're welcome. Information now.
Yes. Get some thanks Kuros in the chat. Now we know. It does mean Sparrow. And we'll see if he can if he's looking to take flight in this series, because he has a pylon here behind the main base looking to hide his tech.
They're saying my puns are bad. God.
Hey, look, I've heard worse today, okay? I've heard worse on the stream today, okay?
Fair.
Totally.
But we do have the Stargate indeed, so we'll see. Once again we'll have the Skytos, but we also have an Adept, so this is not like, the same flavor as what MindelVK did.
Oh yeah, again, MindelVK's was a very specific, very thought out builds that all kind of lined up in a certain way. This is much more of a standard opener. We have an Adept coming out. The Adept is going to be able to stay at home and make sure that the third base gets up and running. Like, everything is looking much more standard, except Demi hasn't been droning.
Huh. Interesting.
He is not droning at all.
Instead of drones, we have a lot of links. And a lot of links. And even more links. And the speed is about to finish. And I mean, Oracle will be useful for defense, so will the Adept, but there is still the wall.
Yes, so Spatz needs to fully wall off. Unfortunately, this probe is being forced all the way back, and Adept is going to be moving out here. We need some kind of scout right now, because Spatz has no idea what's coming his way. The fact that Demi is going all in here with nothing but lings.
Yeah, the links are coming. There is no banelings or anything like that. There is 0 gas for Demi, so there will be no upgrades for these links, but this is still a lot of links, and if they can break in...
Yeah, if they can break in, they can break in. Here we go, the Ling's already hitting the front line. We do see the Oracle making a bit of a beeline, a U-turn coming all the way back home. The first Adept does manage to shade on the other side of this wall, and the wall needs to be a wall. We need a secondary wall behind this, and it looks like Spatz, with the return of this Oracle, has been able to force us back a little bit. Oh.
Yeah, the Adepts are starting to fall a bit in health, but they are keeping the wall for now, and the probe is securing it as well, so this gate may fall, but not before a lot of the links do as well.
Wow, the gateway is so low, but it survives. The Ling flood just doesn't break through. It looks like the gateway on the right-hand side barely going to be saved as well, and even if it did go down, there is a secondary wall behind it, so Spatz with a very impressive defense.
Yeah, Demi does not stop. There are still more links coming, and he's still making more, so this is not gonna be enough.
Wow, GG, well played. Despite not being scouted, Spatz, he had both of his adepts safely at that wall, and he was actually really quick to actually switch them around and move between them and make sure that the high energy health, or the high health, adept was always there, and I'm impressed. GG.
Yeah, very nicely done by Spatz. Also, remember how we praised Demi for being very defensive and safe. Shaking my head.
It's true. I should have brought up the fact that Demi has been going for these Link Floods a lot in his series. It was how he was able to beat Nightmare in Sparkling Tuna Cup, and he's been doing it a lot, like sprinkling it into a best of 3 or best of 5. He doesn't do it every game, but he does do it when he can. And
yes, indeed, but it did not work this time, as he did fall to Spatz. And now our Protoss King will wait for another challenger.
Yeah. It happens. Like, again, Demi, he decided to go for an all-in. He decided to gamble, and when you gamble, it's a massive risk that you take. He did do a really good job at hiding his build and hiding his Lings for a very long time, but despite that, Spatz was just playing very safe, regardless. He was playing just incredibly safe. He was able to recognize it and turn around with his Oracle in time. He was very quick to rebuild the pylons and the shield batteries, and even get a sentry out for that force field. It wasn't the most key force field, but everything, it all added up. Yeah, just insane crisis management.
Yeah, I mean, and it did look calculated as well. Like, he did get that wall up just before the links reached his base, so I'm sure he has the timings, like, figured out as well, and it did work for him this time.
It did, and now we are staying here in the land of Europe. We have a new contender again. Unfortunately, we will still not have a Zerg King tonight. We've only had 2 Zergs, and they have both been a little bit unsuccessful. Now it's time for a Terran player to try.
I actually have no idea what we were talking about.
He it's a little bit weird because he is of course led by a Protoss player, but representing Team Roddy, it is going to be CuKu. Oh boy.
Ah, CuKu himself. Okay. Let's see how he does versus Spatz.
Yeah. As I was.
What does CuKu mean?
CuKu means crazy. It all means crazy.
Hold on. CuKu is a bird in English.
It is. It's a cuckoo bird.
So it's the CuKu versus the Spatz versus the sparrow.
Yeah. So and CuKu, his logo is a phoenix. And Spatz, his logo is a dragon.
Huh?
There you go. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. But yes, it is going to be a battle of the fowls here, a battle of the birds taking flight. Who comes out on top, a cuckoo bird or a sparrow?
I mean, it depends. To be fair, I don't think cuckoos go for sparrows, do they?
I can't picture a cuckoo bird right now. Hold on, I need to figure it out.
Do you know what's the most like recognizable like thing about cuckoos? Because I wonder if there's like a common knowledge everywhere or just where the cuckoos live. That they drop their eggs at the other nests.
Yeah. They drop their eggs in other nests, and they.
I was gonna say I don't think they go for sparrows. I think they're a little too small. But they do go for small birds in general. So I don't know.
One of the more iconic birds out there.
Yeah.
All right, but it looks like we're going to be given a little bit of time here. The players need a moment to gather their thoughts and prepare themselves for the next series. So yeah, we have a little bit of time to kind of theory craft a little bit. Again, Spatz has been doing really well already, but I do think that CuKu again is another great up and coming player. Like I think that's what I love about King of the Hill. Is the wide kind of range of players that we get here.
Definitely, we're getting players from all regions and like of different levels and different recognizability, to put it that way. And I am interested in how CuKu will do, because I'm pretty sure he's also one of these like very fast players. So I do wonder how it goes versus Spatz, like solid style.
Yeah. Especially because like at least today we haven't really seen too much from Spatz. Like game 1 against NoMercy, he cheesed him. Game 2 against Demi cheesed him. So we haven't really been able to like glean too much of his skills, especially like in a longer game. So I am excited. Oof.
Yes. Also, I like how after our discussion, the chat has turned into the German practice group, German language.
Oh boy!
And everybody is trying to say a sentence or two.
Aye. What I know the Dutch Gott. That's what I know.
Guten Tag, probably.
Guten Tag.
Auf Wiedersehen. What other words do I know? I don't remember. But anyway, we are once again on Inside and Out, and we are looking at our current reigning king, the Red Protoss from Germany, representing Alpha X. It is the Sparrow. It is Spatz.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Inside and Out ESL, we have the Romanian Terran player himself representing Team Roddy. It is CuKu. I just want a longer game, Kuro. I just I just want to see the mid game again. It's been a long time. I think the last time we saw that was when the carriers came, and that was more of a rush anyway. But
I wouldn't call that the mid game, no.
True. But okay, CuKu, I was interested because he went the long way around here on the right hand side, and we see why he was being a little bit sneaky, and he's going for an NG block.
Yeah, more common nowadays. blocking that base from the Protoss. So they get a bit of the taste of their own medicine with what they do to Zergs.
Yes, exactly. And this is actually going to be pretty brutal because I don't know if you noticed, but Spatz is going to go down here to low ground very late. And this NGB has so much HP. Spatz is going to be forced to take the unnatural natural.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, I feel like it's not as bad for the Protoss as it is for Zerg, but still very inconvenient to have your bases so far away.
Oh yeah.
And CuKu will confirm that it is there as well.
Exactly, like this makes it so difficult to defend against initial drop play, especially Widowmine drop play coming in here from the Terran player. You can maybe even get some Widowmines here on the high ground to shoot down onto the mineral patch as well. So this is very inconvenient. Again, this is all because of the late scout. This is all because of how much HP that NGB had. Because of that, it just usually isn't worth it to wait and delay your natural for that long.
Yeah, and Spatz is moving out with his first Zealot. Unfortunately for him, the command center is being built on the high ground, so he shouldn't get any damage done if the wall is up.
Exactly, CC on the high ground. I love how far away it is as well. Even if the Zealot or Stalker or any unit gets here on top of the ramp, it is not going to be in range here, so he will not have vision on whether or not this is a one-base play or if there's a CC.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of Marines starting to come out, so that may be a bit tricky to scout. But hey, we do see more barracks coming out.
Yeah, this is a 3 racks follow-up. This is something that used to be all the craze at the start of the year. It used to be very meta. We used to see it every single week in ESL Open Cup Asia. It did fall out of favor though, just because it was so common. Responses became very strong and very powerful. But, you know, whipping this out every now and then, it can catch your opponent off guard.
I do feel like I've seen more of it recently, actually. That it's been making a little bit of a comeback with all the free access around.
It has. It definitely has.
But so far, I mean, CuKu is not moving quite yet, and there are these units from Spatz here to check what is going on. Blink is also already on the way, but we'll see if Spatz will be prepared enough in time for this attack.
Yeah, so like there are a couple of things going on here, and because of the heavy marine count, he can already piece together that it could be a couple things, it shouldn't be other things, right? Like he's able to kind of cross off things from a possible list. Okay, this shouldn't be a 1-1-1. There shouldn't be like a Raven coming out or a Banshee coming out. Like there are very few possibilities that it can be. These Marauders still haven't been revealed, but once they are, then it's going to be very clear that this is a 3 racks.
Yeah, indeed. And now, I mean, now Spatz should be able to see the whole army. He even shades through it just in case. And he will be trying to move back home to get his defenses ready. He's making an Immortal, but this Bio army is already on the move.
Oh, exactly, and it looks like he's going to be able to take down one of these Adepts already. Again, Concussive Shell is done. That is why CuKu is being so aggressive with this army, because if he ever gets close enough, he will kill a unit. Meanwhile, Spatz back at home is preparing himself. And again, it's going to be a really awkward defense because, honestly, CuKu has options. If he wants to, he can ignore the third. He can go straight into the main because of the unnatural natural.
Yeah, because of the natural is completely empty, so absolutely nothing is stopping him from going to the main. The army is at the third, and CuKu does see that. So now it will be hard to go around it.
Yeah, it is going to be hard. The Stalkers do outrange this army. Again, any lost bio units right now is going to be cash money here for Spatz because there is no medevac. You know, these units, they're dying and they stay dead. That is also why when Stim finishes, every Stim is going to be that much more important for CuKu.
Yeah, Spatz is trying to blink around the army and is actually waiting to ambush it on the way. But can he actually fight it with this amount of Stalkers?
Oh, so far the micro has been pretty good. Spatz has been able to pick away at this army. He's forcing CuKu to turn around. Stim is done and CuKu is missing his timing right now. Like, any time that is bought here for Spatz is beautiful.
Yeah, the rest of the army of Spatz is joining in, even the War Priest as well, so there will be reinforcements coming. And CuKu actually has to move back home.
Yeah, and I love this counter blink timing here. We have 4 gates behind this and blink as well. We do have a third being thrown down, so Spatz isn't all in by any means, but without any tanks, and again, the factory is very delayed because of this build, it can be really difficult to keep up with blink Stalkers.
Indeed. I mean, they are fighting up a ramp, which is not the easiest way to do, but they are doing pretty well. Oh, the Immortal just barely gets saved by the War Priest.
Oh, barely does get saved. The boys are being pulled as well. CuKu is diving on top of this army. Does get a lot of these Stalkers. Quickly looking at the unit stat, he gets 4 Stalkers in the end, but a lot of lost mining time, and it did force out a couple of Stims.
Yeah, two SCVs fall down as well, but this is not the end of the aggression of Spatz, as he has a clear way straight to the main.
And again, there's no tank here. There's no bunker either. Spatz is going to have an easier time fighting. He goes straight for the tech lab. The upgrades are done at least, and we see a stim on forward.
Ooh, these stalkers are actually trapped here. A lot of them actually do fall down or take a lot of damage, but the army is still there, been like endangering the bases of CuKu.
Yeah, I do think that the stalker count has been whittled down enough that CuKu should be feeling pretty comfortable. Like with the amount of marauders that he has, he can fight this any day of the week. Like he is perfectly fine here. He is transitioning. He's working or going to be working on his first wave of medevacs. And I do think that the danger here is now over.
Yeah, for the most part, CuKu is now safe. But Spatz, as we said before, he was not all in. He did set up his third base. He's getting more Immortals. He's getting charged on the way. So he will just transition to the next stage of his plan.
Yeah, exactly. Spatz just working on the rest of his upgrades. Any moment now, I imagine we're going to be seeing a robotic space so we can get into Colossus production. For now, he's just being safe, just getting a couple of Immortals to make sure he has a standing army. Meanwhile, CuKu, kind of interesting here. Opposite, okay, he does throw down a third CC. So again, he's not going all in, and Spatz does see the third CC here at the natural.
Well, actually, he's able to delay it for a little bit, which is always nice. Not a major delay, but it's still a nice thing to get. But on his side of the map, we do have Storm on the way, so soon this bio army will be in a lot of danger.
Yeah, very interesting choice here to go for Storm as his AoE of choice. It looks like he doesn't want to stop Immortal production. That's why he hasn't thrown down a robotic space. So he wants to keep the Immortal count up, which will help against Marauders, and Storm will work against everything else. Thankfully though, as his opponent is getting Storm, CuKu, without scouting it, is going straight into his Ghost for those EMPs.
Yeah, this will be really risky for the Protoss, as those EMPs will definitely deal with nicely with the High Templars if the opportunity arises. And CuKu decides to once again move to the other side of the map, but there is a Protoss army waiting for him.
Yeah, exactly. Like pushing into this third base is never going to work. We have shield batteries, we have overcharge, we have the army already waiting in position, but that's why he's looking to go for a little bit of a doom drop. This is a little bit risky. Thankfully, the zealots do barely miss him, and he could look to go straight into the main.
Yeah, once again, the mains are pretty big on this map, so a lot of them is actually not covered, and they do miss this drop.
Oh, exactly. Spatz may have to recall. Finally, he has eyes on this, and Tarsus pylon is going to go down.
Yeah, a lot of the gateways are unpowered, so the reinforcements will be that much slower, but the recall comes in time, and this army will be repelled.
Yeah, at the same time, the remaining force tries to go into the third base, but there was a High Templar waiting. Storms get thrown down. Spatz will defend all of his bases, but he does end up losing 11 probes.
Yeah, so some losses for Spatz definitely, but all in all, he does survive, but that also gives Terran time to catch up with his bases and economy.
More importantly, he also gets eyes on the splash damage. He is now fully aware that there are Archons, there's Storm in these War Prisms as well, so he knows to be a little bit extra careful, and he starts Viking production as a result. He's going to go for another massive Doom Drop. Risky play, but he goes for it.
Risky play is also that Warp is going behind the Bio Army. It's gonna get sniped before it can unload. And once again, the base is in danger.
Oh my god, a little bit of a miss rally there for Spatz. Already well worth it. He takes down the Prism that had 2 High Templar inside it.
Yeah, very nice pickup for CuKu, and suddenly this drop is starting to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, again, well worth it here for CuKu. Back at home, he's getting his third base up and running. Spatz still doesn't have his own fourth, which he should have by now, by the way. Like, he's falling a little bit behind economically. We have plenty of ghosts. We have enhanced shockwaves on the way, the EMP upgrade. Things looking a little bit better here for CuKu.
He even checks that 4 base as well to make sure it's not been placed yet. And yeah, I guess we'll see where we go from here. Like, who is gonna decide to move out first?
Yeah, that's going to be the question. It looks like Spatz is going to be the first to move out, but we have a spotter mine here. Honestly, a money mine. CuKu is fully aware that the army is coming. He can reposition, set up his mines, and he is now ready to receive.
Yeah, and the Proto is coming through the choke mine, which is... Ooh, even the Warp is falling down.
Oh my god, for the second time the Prism goes down, and once again it has a My Templar. GG gets called, and CuKu takes down the reigning king.
Wow, really nicely done by CuKu. I honestly didn't believe he's gonna bring it back after his free axe didn't really do much damage, but But he did bring it back, like with this really nice snipes on the War Prism.
Oh yeah. Very nice control there by CuKu. Very nice target firing. As we saw twice, he was able to kill War Prisms with High Templar inside them. You could argue that Spatz had a little bit of miscontrol, especially the first time. I would 100% agree with that. And Spatz, it kind of fell away from him. You know, he didn't have any more High Templar. He only had 2 storms, and we saw those 2 storms miss the army as well. So very nice control there by CuKu. Very nice play.
Yeah, and when he set up like the Protoss army also in the last fight, it was going straight through the choke point. So you know, it gave even more time to CuKu to deal with it, and yeah, he did take the game, and now he's the next king.
Yeah. Oh, F's in the chat for for the king of the Hill Spatz, as hail the new king in CuKu.
By the way, in the meantime, the chat is continuing to speak German.
Ah, yes.
And Emperor Fubu said that light is the best light.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, take that, Brood War Light. I appreciate it. As we are getting into our next game, and yeah, who can kind of stand up to the might of CuKu? Again, he had very impressive play here against Spatz. Very scary play, I might add. Not the best opener, as we saw. Like, he honestly struggled a little bit with the 3 racks. He wasn't really doing too well with it, but he was able to adapt and come back.
Yeah, definitely. I do wonder who's gonna be the next challenger for CuKu, and can he continue his streak, unlike most of our competitors today?
Ooh, that is the question, you know? Like, how long will his reign last? Hopefully a long one, hopefully prosperous, you know, hopefully fruitful. But the other interesting thing, as I quickly refresh the bracket here, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket, we don't have that many games left. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 matches remaining.
Yeah. Four games. So we will see who's gonna be the king of the whole weekly. Who's gonna, you know, move on to the next one, because the last king of the hill for this weekly has a chance to start in the next one. So, you know, potentially just start winning straight up.
Potentially. Hold on, as I quickly show on the screen here, we have the technology, we have the Liquipedia bracket right before your eyes, and as I try and zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so far it did happen a little bit off stream, but ByuN had a great start here to the night. So far he is the longest reigning king in tonight's King of the Hill, plowing through so many players, but then like the upset that we never saw coming, but ByuN maybe saw coming. Nicoract was able to bring it back, and then suddenly he got taken out as well by MindelVK. Like again, like a lot of really surprising results here.
I mean, the ByuN Nicoract is still my favorite of this whole weekly, because of the banter before that, and afterwards as well. Afterwards, they were very nice to each other as well. But like, I just like that they both had, like, you know, it was like, so it is you, my nemesis, essentially the vibe, you know. I loved it. Yeah, exactly. I just loved the vibe they had, because, like, you know, they were bantering, but they were both into it.
They were bantering, but there was respect between them as well, which was really cool.
Yes.
And probably the most important part as well. So yeah, if you are tuning in a little bit later, I highly recommend checking out the VOD for a lot of these games, because I briefly mentioned Nicoract versus ByuN, MindelVK versus Nicoract, Mixu versus Mindel was also a really interesting one as well. A little bit sad if you're a Zerg player, but interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, don't watch if you're Zerg.
Yeah, avert your eyes. But even NoMercy coming, like the underdog himself, coming out of nowhere and earning some money, like it's been crazy.
Yeah, some money did really well today.
Some money, yes. Oh, as we are moving over to the land of the Americas.
Oh, okay. Who may it be on the land of the Americas waiting for us?
So I wanted to try and keep this from you. I did my best, but unfortunately, I cannot deprive you of the TVTs.
Oh no. Who is it? Hold on. Who's in the channel? Let me see. It is White Hydra. Have I guessed it?
I don't think he's an OSC Elite member.
But he's in the channel.
Yeah, he is in the channel. As there we go, we are getting into our next game. I apologize to our players who didn't realize that we had to come over. It is going to be a Korean Terran, Percival.
Yeah, Percival does appear in these weeklies fairly often, I feel like. So, we'll see what he's gonna show this week.
Oh yeah, here we go. As a reminder, this is a Percival newly teamless. As a result, I believe, if you remember, he was on License to Kill, but it was only for their World Team League run, and after they got eliminated from the qualifiers, they did end his contract. So, a very solid player out there looking for potentially a new team.
It's a little bit sad, isn't it?
It is pretty sad.
Because the VTLA code literally lasted like a week. So being on a team for a week is a bit rough.
Yeah.
But he will try his best here, but first he has to challenge this king of the hill, as we are looking at our Romanian Terran. Representing Team Roti, in the blue, it is CuKu.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Waterfall, we have the South Korean Terran player himself, representing himself, the would-be usurper. It is Percival.
So, you know that show about like how Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, is that the English name?
Sure.
And how you have like this like thingies you can use, and there's like phone a friend.
Lifelines, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I phone Asher?
Can I phone a friend? Can I call up Asher and ask him for some TVT insight, please?
Look.
I don't. Not even TVT insight. Can you cast for me, please? Can I?
Yeah, just because I'll be honest, like out of the 3 races, I know Terran the least, and it's always a thing. It's just like it's Terran. There it is.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we did cast Nicoract versus ByuN, but that was a little bit more straightforward. It was a proxy 3 racks.
It was more explosive.
It was, and so far this is anything but. Already a little bit of an interesting divergence here is that CuKu has decided to throw down his production closer to his main base and not at the ramp. This is interesting because this does mean that the production is going to be a little bit safer. Depending on the map, sometimes from the low ground here at the third base, tanks can kind of shell away at your production and at your add-ons. So some players like to put their buildings a little bit further back to keep them a little bit safer from that sort of thing.
Yeah. That's definitely been a trend in TVTs, where you do want to make sure that your production is not being sniped in the middle of the battle, but there's no early dashes from other side of the map, and they will both just, take up to the next stage.
Yeah, very, very similar openers here. I say similar because we do have a reactor on the way here for CuKu. Meanwhile, Percival hasn't invested into any of his add-ons yet. And with this reactor, it does mean that CuKu can kind of go into a Chinese opener, can prioritize his Reaper production, his Hellion production, and kind of snowball with a stronger ground army in a couple of moments.
Yeah, but for now, Percival dips in with his Reapers, sees what the build is, checks out if there's anything fishy, and has to be deflected by the Hellion and Reaper of CuKu.
Yeah, upon seeing this reactor, by the way, on this Rax, he should be just being more defensive, and I love this. He's going to be waiting here on the high ground to shell away at whatever comes his way, so he will have a bit of a better defender's advantage.
Hold on. Do Hellions shoot from the high ground?
They can. Their shots are range.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
We may see it here, as CuKu is going to be moving out across the map. If the units are close enough to this cliff, they will be shot at. But it looks like, no, he's going to go up the ramp. Oof.
Yeah, and one Reaper already falls down. Very nicely done for Percival. That ambush worked perfectly for him. Fortunately for CuKu, he does move back with the rest of his army, only losing that Reaper, but still, nicely done.
Yeah, he basically nullifies the advantage of that reactor. He's able to just chill out. He's able to be pretty safe and sound. CuKu, after losing that Reaper, has to turn around, and he has already switched into marine production.
So nice one, Emperor Fubu. He says, phone a friend is out, but you can ask the audience for help. Twitch chat knows everything.
Oh.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Sounds about right.
Shout out to CuKu also showing up in the chat. Again, I apologize. It did take us a little bit to recognize that we had to switch regions, had to switch servers, but we are now here. Now that Percival has his Cyclone out, he's going to be feeling a little bit more brave, a little bit more brazen in the middle of the map. But again, outside of this, we're both kind of just chilling here, working on our tanks, working on our Ravens.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, Percival sets up this. I don't want to say it. I call it an attack, but it's a spotter force. As CuKu is now moving out, and Percival will be able to respond to that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we do have the first siege up here from CuKu. He gets one tank volley off already on this army, forcing Percival to back the hell off. And yeah, already a nice start here for CuKu. Going to be able to soften this up, not just the Reapers, but also a couple of those Hellions.
Yeah, the nice part is though that none of the units were actually killed, and the Reapers will heal eventually. So this army will be salvaged for later. But the rest of Percival's forces are now joining in.
Yeah, meanwhile, I love that CuKu was able to sneak his army around there. We go, the Hellions and the Reaper are going to be able to delay this third CC that's on location. Also a very important scout. CuKu is now fully aware that his opponent does want to macro out of this.
Yeah, and the army of Percival, actually most of it comes back as well, so the delays his attack too. And now the SCVs are starting to fall.
Yeah, SCVs are being picked off one after the other. We have that one Reaper in the main base as well. Percival, his hand is going to be forced here. He has to make something happen with his army across the map.
Yeah. He finally deals with the attack of CuKu, but now it's time for him to move. And is this actually enough to do damage?
I mean, he can get a depot for free, not gonna lie, you know, he will get a little bit of value here. Yeah. And to be fair, the worker counts are even right now, so despite losing 7 SCVs, Percival, you know, his worker production was still on point. Ooh.
The Dance of the Ravens is really interesting.
Yeah,
as the turrets are being dropped down, and actually the tank is getting sniped. Very nicely done from Percival.
Yeah, very nicely done. Sniping any kind of tanks here this early on is so valuable. We do see the unsiege, or actually there never was a siege. Percival is going to back one up after getting that tank.
Ooh, they're actually gonna meet each other in the middle of the map, it looks like, and CuKu does get the siege first.
He does get the siege first. He's gonna get a couple of volleys off, but he will lose a Viking.
Yeah, they does lose that Viking, and the air superiority is there. We finally reached that phase.
Yes, exactly.
Oh no.
Percival is now ahead in Vikings, and he knows it, so he's going to be able to try and flex it a little bit here. Forces another siege. Percival trying to gain a little bit more ground. Does move forward. As this is happening, Percival, his CC is already on location. CuKu, his still hasn't been lifted off. Hasn't gone over to that triangular third.
Yeah, I mean, it is on location, but there is no mining there yet. There is a single mule literally being dropped right now. And this army, although this army is still putting the base of CuKu in danger.
It is, but Percival's edging ever closer. Percival has that, still maintains that Viking out. A couple of disables get thrown down, and CuKu does siege up in range.
Oh, almost all of the tanks are disabled, and now CuKu can deal with all these tanks while the bio army is trying to come from behind, but all of the bio is just shot down.
Wow, those were insane disables. Just like that, Percival loses his entire army. The only thing left over are the Vikings, and to be fair, the Vikings actually kind of win the fight.
Yeah, I mean, Viking is a good unit.
Yeah, Vikings are an amazing unit apparently, and just like that, they even force a lift up. So even though it was a costly fight, but even though Percival lost all of his Ravens, lost all of his tanks, he's, oh my god, is he gonna get a kill in the CC? Oh no!
Yep. The SCVs were there, but they were not there in time, and the Vikings just sniped down the CC.
Wow, just like that. I was about to praise CuKu a little bit for having an extra Raven left over, and maybe the fact that he was going to be able to hold on to it was going to be what it takes, but no, Percival kills that CC, forcing CuKu onto 2 bases.
See, I feel like Viking is one of the underestimated units of Terrans. Like, they seem to have a lot of use in different situations, you know?
Oh yeah, the Vikings are powerful. They even dive on top of the Raven. The Raven that survived the engagement earlier, it goes down as well. Percival getting further and further ahead. We see he's fully saturated on 3 bases. He's even getting a 4th on location.
I mean, why not? He's literally in the base of CuKu, so right now there is absolutely no danger to him. But hold that thought, as there is a drop coming from the blue side of the map.
There is a drop, and again, this is a very necessary drop. CuKu has to do something to alleviate the pressure. He has to do something to deal some damage across the map because he is hurting right now. Even here, we see the Vikings are camping the production. Any kind of medevac that pops out is going to be fired upon by the Vikings.
Yeah, but this drop is starting to do damage. Actually deals with all the reinforcements that are there, but has to move away as the tank is now coming in.
Oh, exactly. Not bad. 5 SCVs as well as a handful of Marines. CuKu is fighting back in some way. He even goes all the way into a drop into the main base as well, but the reinforcements are going to be good enough. There's only so much one drop can do.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is even with this drop doing some damage, he's still down on workers. He's definitely down on bases. So, you know, this damage is nice, but it's still not enough to bring him back.
It really isn't, but again, this is like, I'm so impressed by how much he has done with only one drop, right? Again, another 3 SCVs, another couple of Marines, another little bit of lost mining time. Like, this one drop is actually insane. Unfortunately, it has to do more than this, but like, already it's done more than anyone thought it would.
Yeah, definitely. And now CuKu actually jumps on this army and he will be able to take down the tanks. The Vikings are still in the air, but they will not dare to come close to these Marines.
Yeah, and that one drop is still alive, by the way. Finally, the medevac goes down, and finally this is going to get cleaned up. But again, CuKu did a great job at coming back, and now he's forced to base all in. I kind of wish that he pulled the boys regardless. He is very committed with his attack. He's going across the map. What is there at home to defend? CuKu has a massive Marine lead right now.
Important to note, there are absolutely no medivacs for CuKu on this side of the map because the Vikings were camping the production the whole time. But this is still quite a strong army. Now the medivac joins in.
Yeah, the medivacs are finally coming in across the map. This army was a little bit overstimmed. It's going to take a little bit here for him to really recover from all of that. Again, CuKu is on a timer. The longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for Percival because, again, he's fully mining here on his 4th base as well.
Did he snipe the medivac? I think he tried to dive on the medivac with the Vikings, but I don't think he got it.
Yeah, medivac does. It does back off in the end. CuKu is also going to retreat. We see a scan. Percival confirming that the army has backed off, and now he can resume mining here at the 3rd. And I'm worried because, again, like, oh my god, CuKu had to do a little bit more, but he actually picks up 2 medevacs.
Oh. Yeah, but these Marines are actually falling. Oh, this is not a great fight for Percival, as actually CuKu has no advantage in the ground army.
Again, like the entire time CuKu has had an insane lead in the Marine count, and now he's able to flex that a little bit more, shaving off so many Marines off Percival. What CuKu lacks, though, is tanks, is obviously Vikings as well. We have 8 Vikings for Percival, 0 for CuKu.
Yeah. But he does have some medivacs to join this army and a lot of tanks as well, so he may just win the fight on the ground. We will see how it goes right now.
Oh my god, this is a questionable stim, and it looks like he's forced all the way back. Percival was already in position. We do see the army coming back. He's going to be able to siege up just in time, but one tank goes down.
Yeah, one tank goes down. Few Vikings of Percival also go down, so that's just that much safer for these medivacs, but one of them gets sniped regardless. And there is not a lot of buy of these tanks anymore.
Yeah, and again, like, the pressure is still on CuKu. Look at the workers right now. Like, again, he's so far behind economically. He is running out of steam. Oh, the high ground is just a little bit too good here for Percival. The defensive position here at this triangular 3rd is just far too great, and CuKu just can't find a way in.
Yeah, Percival is getting some really great positions right now, sieging the tanks on the high ground, sieging the tanks right in front of the entrances to his base. And he is getting some great shots in CuKu's army.
Yeah, CuKu, he was going for a massive dune drop, by the way. Oh my god, but the Vikings are here. We see a stim on forward. CuKu's trying to find a little bit of a better position. He goes for the siege.
Yeah, but the Marines of Percival are already all on top of the tanks, and they will be sniping most of them, and Percival takes the game.
GG. Percival does take the game. He's able to take down the reigning king in CuKu and take the crown for himself. But CuKu did a really good job at almost coming back. Like, losing that 3rd was kind of the nail in the coffin. Like, it was kind of like it's really hard to come back from that. But he almost did. Like, his drop play was impressive.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty nice play from CuKu. Unfortunately, it was not enough to take down Percival, but nonetheless, he did pretty well in his game.
He really did. He really did. I was impressed as well. Again, it was just really unfortunate that at the time, again, even taking a bit of a like a disadvantaged fight, you know, with his Raven control at that fight at that third base. It was really impressive how he was able to fight back and kind of even things up outside of the Vikings. Like, it was really unexpected how much damage they got done.
I'm curious if people will be able to utilize Vikings more over time to, like, you know, make some crazy strategies of like mass Viking builds.
Well, I mean, that's special signature builds for the Terrans in the chat, or for the people that are familiar. Special does have a 2-port Viking build, where off of 2 bases he does make a very fast second star port just for additional Vikings, just to get map control, and then go straight into Liberators as well. It can be very oppressive. I
mean, I can imagine.
I remember when he first whipped it out. I think it was maybe in DreamHack Valencia, or like around the start of the year. It was catching a lot of people off guard. And Special was finding a lot of success with it. Nowadays, it's a little bit more figured out because it's less unique and everyone's been able to see it. But he still does it every now and then.
Yeah. Well, but that's definitely nice to hear. But with that, we will be looking for our next challenger. Do you have any idea of who that might be?
My money's on maybe Bistork. I see him online.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I see Bistork. Bistork only comes online when he has to play.
Yeah, Bistork, I see you. So I'm gonna assume it's him, but it could be someone else. Definitely.
I mean, there's always potential that, like, you know, he's just one of the players who are coming online, who are getting ready to play, and then Eddie has to pick one. So, you know, you never know if it's gonna be that person someone else.
Yeah. You know, the players, it's all up to the admin's discretion. You know, Eddie's paving the way. He's telling the story. You know, he's kind of trying to convey this narrative of who is going to be the final king of the hill as the games are running out, and it is in fact the Kong from Hong Kong.
Okay, then. We'll see if they can take our current king.
Yeah, we'll see if they play here on NA or if they decide to move over to the land of Korea as well. Depending on ping, it may be better to play on Taiwan. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see soon enough, as they are getting ready for that match.
Definitely. But yeah, I also see some people in the chat pointing out how great the positioning was from Percival, and it really was. I mean, a lot of that is because he was so far ahead that he could afford sensor towers, so he was getting towers up and running. He was able to afford some scans as well, because it wasn't as important for him to save scans from muling, right? Because he had a higher SEV count, so like so much was available and provided to him because of how far ahead he was. You know, he can be a little bit more lenient when it comes to that scouting, and yeah, he was really able to prove himself, you know, and he's a great player, right? He may be teamless, but definitely deserving to be on the team.
Oh yeah, definitely. Percival is definitely one of the stronger Terrans out there. Like, or more of that, you know, new Korean talent, to put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he still can go pretty far.
Yeah, you know what I think Percival's lacking, really? When's he signing up for Sparkling Tuna Cup? You know, when's that happening? Because our tournament has kind of made the rounds on the amateur, the semi-pro Koreans, right? Like Lunacy, Rebellion, 3 Point, Honmono, right? Stephen Curry. You know, they've all really embraced it, which is really cool to see, because they're all like kind of their own group. Percival's the one that's missing.
To be fair, they haven't been playing recently, just saying. Hashtag called out.
Honmono and 3 Point played this week, to be fair.
Yeah, Honmono and 3 Point, yeah. But like Lunacy, Stephen Curry, like we haven't seen them for a while.
It's true. Quanta, I want more Quanta, please. Oh, God. But yeah, Percival definitely stands out amongst them. I think Percival and Chance are the two like up and coming Korean players that have a little bit more success and a little bit more notoriety.
I'm thinking, who else? I think there was someone else who was also around that level. I still think Prince is not there yet. This is the second time I mean, with Chance, yeah. I would rate Percival still a bit higher than Chance and Prince, but maybe they are starting to close up together, you know?
Okay. And look, I'm just saying, Prince, he made it to Code S this season, you know? Like, he's got the results. He's got the results.
I don't know, I just haven't seen him play a lot. I feel like that maybe just
Whose
the
fault is
bias
that?
of me not watching that.
Yeah. Alas, we are just getting ready for our next series. It looks like we have a little bit of a lobby bug, so Percival needs a little bit of time to prepare himself. I also wanted to quickly check here because we are running out of games. Again, we've had a lot of cheesy, a lot of quick games. And yeah, we have 3 left. Only 3.
Yes, indeed. So only 3 maps left. As a reminder, each map is worth $750 USD. So, you know, a lot of players still have a chance to earn that if they do show up.
Yeah, and I have to wonder. So, for those who don't know, Eddie, our lovely admin, he does his best to make sure that every player that shows up is a unique player. You know, there's no revives, there's no repeats. But if we get to the end of the line and there's no one else there, we can see a revive, we can see a repeat. Would we see a return of ByuN? would that happen? Someone else was talking about that before.
Yeah, people in the chat were bringing it up. Like maybe ByuN gets revived for like the last game or something. And we won't know until it happens.
Yeah, it is really hard to kind of piece together. So we'll see what remaining players do show up here for the tournament. Maybe in the chat, _B, predict. You know, we have 3 series left, 3 more players. Who else is going to show up? Who else is kind of an OSC Elite member that hasn't shown his face? I think probably the biggest one is Gerald. Gerald hasn't shown up yet. And Nightmare as well.
Yeah, and we did see him a few times logging in, right? So I feel like maybe Eddie is keeping him for later.
Yeah. Geralt is a big possibility. Nightmare is a player who came out at the end of the night last night, or last time we were here, if you remember. Saved for the very end. Who else? Is Baby Marine an OSC Elite member? I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out soon. But for now, we are loading into Data C. Data and Data C. As we are now looking at the base of our pink Protoss player, the Kong of Hong Kong. Representing the Juggernauts, it is Bistork.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of Data under the sea, we have the South Korean Terran player himself, currently teamless, but also currently the King of the Hill. It is Percival.
And there's the pro going out on the map. Trying to attack the Terran from all the way across the map.
Yes, it's on a mission right now to go across the map and wreak some havoc. We'll see if Percival, looks like he isn't going to go for the full wall off, so the probe will be able to sneak into the main base and get an eye on how many gases are going to be taken here. Meanwhile, Bistork going to be just extra annoying, tasing away at that SCV.
Yeah, I told you, this probe came here for blood.
Oh yeah.
Insane.
Look, probes are terrifying units, okay?
Yeah, I mean, this is not a peaceful probe. This probe is out there for SCVs.
Yeah, the probe may be pink, but do not be fooled, okay? This is a probe from Southeast Asia. It's terrifying. Wow. It's crazy. This probe belongs to Bistork, mate. The Kong from Hong Kong. He is a terrifying player. He can be very cheesy at times, very unorthodox, very off-meta and off-tempo. So if any, I mean, I would really say that in a best of one, he can take a game off of anyone.
Yeah, definitely. And we did see him take down some very, very notable players before. But let's see how it goes this time, as Percival does get to drop his base, although a bit out of place.
I'll always remember.
And Bistork does go straight on.
does. He does. I'll always remember the 1 week of ESL Open Cup Asia where Bistork was able to beat Zest.
Yeah, that did happen.
It's happened before. It may have been ESL NA. It was one of the ESL Open Cups, but like it's happened before. It could happen again. That was a PvP, which is a little bit different. But Bistork, more importantly, he was able to scout the single gas opener, the single racks going into the CC on the low ground. So he knows it's was able to confirm a macro opener. But just like our previous Terran player, just like CuKu, Percival, how many racks are there?
Hold on, let me count.
Okay.
1, 2, 3!
Ah!
Yay!
Let's go.
Math wants to-
Thought you were gonna count in German, not gonna lie, but yes.
1, 2, 3. That much I remember.
There we go. So yes, it is going to be a 3-rack follow-up here by Percival. Very well hidden so far. We have scattered the reactor on the racks, so that is a little bit of a tell that we are going to have continued marine production. But this could even be like, we've seen a little bit of a resurgence of like a 2-1-1 in TVP as well. So Bistork has to try and confirm what is happening.
And he's trying to do so, but he's being constantly blocked by these depots, so no information for him. The Reaper may actually fall to that depth, but it actually escapes as well. So I guess that Oracle will be the first source of scouting for Bistork.
And I think this is a good thing already for Percival. The fact that we don't have a Blink Stalker opener. We saw how easily Blink Stalkers can handle 3 racks, especially before it moves out across the map. They can really slow it down. They can really punish the Terran player and dance between the bases. Now finally the Oracle sees everything in the main. Ooh, and there's not a lot to defend.
No, I do like that Oracle actually decides to pick the Marines over the CVs, because with 3 racks we will have a lot of bio coming up real soon, so, you know, just making the number a bit smaller might be useful.
Definitely, and now Bistork can start preparing back at home. He's going for a 2nd Oracle. We have a 3rd Oracle behind this. Interesting decision. Oracles can do a lot, especially defensively, especially with stasis traps. Stasis traps will really throw kind of a wrench into the works here for Percival. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how Percival is going to execute this, knowing that he's scouted and knowing that it's a Stargate opener.
Yeah, and as a reminder, because this is a 3-rax, there are no medivacs to support these Marines, so they have to run to the other side of the map. So the stasis wards are that much stronger, because if they are, you know, positioned in the right places, they can take down this whole army for quite a while.
They really can. Oh boy, but that all kind of does hinge on whether or not Percival moves out. Right now, he's doing a great job at zoning away these oracles from the mineral lines. Stim is going to finish up in a couple of seconds. Bearing in mind, this is not the Marauder variant that CuKu went for. There are 0 Marauders with this army, which means we didn't have to invest into concussive shell. So this is going to hit a little bit faster, a little bit harder in a way. Like Marines have a lot of DPS, but he can't go toe-to-toe with Stalkers. Thankfully, again, there aren't that many.
Yeah, I mean, there's a concussive shell now, so I guess there will be a transition to them later, but for now, yeah, this is just Marines. But +1 is on the way as well, and by the time the attack may happen, it may just be able to finish soon.
Yeah, we'll see in a couple of seconds. The shield batteries are going to finish up. We do have a couple of vanilla gateway units, and we do have a force field available. Oh, actually, Guardian Shield.
Yeah, Guardian Shield is really nice, and the Marines are still chasing that army though, so they have to be really careful that Sentry is real low. I forgot the name for a second.
It's all good. Bistork with a great defense, with a great offense as well, killing a lot of Marines, keeping every single one of his oracles alive, even throws down a stasis ward for good measure.
There you go. Half of the army is disabled now.
Exactly. And now Bistork, he has eyes on the army. He knows it went back home. He knows he's pretty safe and sound. Oh!
Ooh, but the oracles are staying way too close to the fire, and one of them actually does go down, so that's much less utility for Bistork.
Yeah, a little bit of misjudgment there for Bistork, leaving his oracles a little bit idle. Regardless, with the revelation, he knows his opponent went back home. He knows there's going to be a transition point here, and Percival throws down a couple more Raxes. What's interesting, he has, what, 5 Raxes right now, +1 on the way. There's only a single NG base, so again, this goes to show that I don't know if he's really going to take a 3rd base. I don't think he will.
I don't think he needs to be honest. If he's just able to, you know, amass an army and go to the other side of the map, he may just be able to do it. But Bistork is already working on the Colossi.
He is. I'm just waiting to see if the boys are going to be pulled, essentially. Like, I want to know how all-in Percival is going to be on 2 bases. We do see that Bistork has eyes on this. He keeps throwing down stasis traps at that 3rd just to try and slow anything down, but we have such a large army here. We do see a Warp Prism going to be sneaking into the main base, and this is going to force a reaction out of Percival. This may force him even more all-in.
I mean, it looks like he's just moving out regardless, and we'll see Bistork has enough prepared to hold this army, because this army is not stopping.
It is not stopping, and it looks like a nice trigger there by Percival. Only a single Marine does get caught in that field. At the same time, Prism is sneaking into the main base. The army is in the middle of the map. He is not really prepared to deal with this.
Yeah, he will lose a lot of the workers, which will force Percival to go even more all-in than he already is. And, ooh, this Protoss army actually is not looking very strong.
It's not looking very strong. We do have a lot of force fields, though. Again, force fields can slow down this army, can cut him up, but it looks like Percival, he's trying to dive on top of this army.
Ooh, nice force field, but Bistork just barely kites back the army enough. And he's able to hold it for now while doing a lot of damage on the other side of the map.
Yeah, meanwhile he goes for a massive Dune drop into the main base instead. We do have already a Colossus ready and waiting. It looks like a little bit of a surround here. Bistork, I do think that he has plenty to defend. It looks like the Colossus are looking a little bit vulnerable here, but with the help of these shield batteries and the positioning, I think Bistork can hold.
Yeah, Percival did split his army, and part of it was fighting the Stalkers on the low ground. That was dealt with, and the top army was dealt with the Colossi, so I think Bistork got this.
Yeah, I mean, look at the workers. Again, because of the dead SCVs, because of the lack of a 3rd base, like, Percival was very committed here. It looks like he's going to try and throw down a 3rd CC on location, but this is ambitious. This is a little bit of copium, I feel.
I mean, to be fair, it does not look like Bistork is willing to counterattack anytime soon, so he may be able to get away with it, because Bistork does harass with that Warp Priest, but yeah, he doesn't go for any frontal attacks. And he can't do it because there is a Doom Drop going his way.
Oh yeah. It looks like War Prism is being remade. We actually already have a War Prism, so maybe a little bit of a mistake here from Bistork. But Percival is going for a massive Doom Drop. Very committed here. He knows that he has to do something crazy, but Bistork was already waiting for him.
Nice, he was able to shoo away with the Stalkers, even though I don't think they would be able to take down all the Medivacs, but still nicely done from Bistork. And once again, he will be able to stop this army.
Oh, he will. Meanwhile, he turns around to try and dive on top of this force field. They're going to slow him down once again. The Colossus are going to get to the safety of the shield batteries.
It looks so scary every time. Like, these Colossus do not have a lot of backup.
Oh my god, at the same time, he commits to the Doom Drop into the main base. One full medevac is going to go down, but he commits anyway. Overcharge is going to try and keep these Stalkers alive, but we need more army.
Yeah, the Terran army was stronger than that, and it's overpowering the Stalkers. The Colossi have to move to defense, but it takes them so long to reach here.
Yeah, also we had a warp in back across the map, so these Colossi are a little bit vulnerable, but it looks like it's going to be plenty here. There's so much Protoss here to defend. He's going to be able to clean up this drop and also just eviscerate the mineral line across the map.
Yeah, now the Percival has half the worker count of Bistork, and I know mules are good, but they are not that good. And yeah, I guess Bistork just has an advantage here.
He has been able to hold on to his advantage for quite some time. Percival, he's still in this. He's still, look at the army supply specifically. He still has quite a large army. So there's a world where maybe he can catch these Colossi. I think this move out is a little bit of a mistake here. These Colossus they're vulnerable.
They're naked.
Oh my god.
And one of them goes down, both of them will go down, and the reinforcements are nice, but the warp piece goes down as well, and I don't think Bistork can hold this.
Exactly. A massive mistake here from Bistork moving out the way that he did with those two dead Colossus. Now there's nothing stopping Percival from slipping on forward. Again, even though he is in shambles economically, his army is pretty terrifying, and he can still make some magic happen.
Yeah, Terran army definitely is strong despite not the greatest economy there, and as you said, Bistork does have to remake all of these robo units, so for the time being, it's just Stalkers holding the front.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he only has a single robo right now, so only one robo unit can be made at a time. He's going for a Disruptor, which again is really difficult to kind of find value with them if your opponent has good enough micro. Oof.
But he will get some of the value, unfortunately not a lot of it though, so this army still has to be dealt with. Fortunately, the mines are being dealt with by the gateway units, and eventually this is moved. This is shoot away.
Yeah, it is shoot away, but again, Percival's getting so much value. He's even going to get the Cyber Core on the high ground, so only Zealots are going to be warped in here for Bistork. Great pickups here when it comes to this drop, and again, Percival, he's doing so much with so little.
Yeah, the Cybernetics Core only now starting to be remade, so it will be quite a while before Bistork can get any more Stalkers, and he is working on the Disruptor count. But even then, like, this is 2 Novas, and then what?
Well, I'm just concerned because Disruptors rely on your opponent being unable to split, and I believe in Percival's ability to micro right now. So these Disruptors, they can win the game for Percival, or they can lose the game for Percival, like if they don't do any damage.
Yes, indeed, and we'll see how it happens, because Percival does not stop. He moves out with another army.
Yeah, exactly. And Bistork, he is kind of limping along right now. His army is not large at all. He's out of position. We see a scan at the 3rd. Bistork is at his 4th base instead, and his 3rd is vulnerable.
Yeah, there are a lot of shield batteries, but only 1 cannon to defend the base, so the 2nd one in the mineral line. And this is not enough to stop this army. Now the Protoss army is joining in. The Disruptor shots are coming out, but they are both being zoned away.
Yeah, 1 shot connects with a little bit of the army. A 2nd shot going off as well, but the target firing is good enough, and Percival has done it. He's breaking through.
Yeah, he's taking down this Protoss army. There's no more splash damage to do with the Marines. There is more harassment on the other side of the map, but it's not enough. The Stalkers are falling down.
Yeah, exactly. There's only 1 Disruptor left. GG gets called, and Percival comes back in this game, and he takes down Bistork.
Yeah, very nicely done.
GG Bistork. Unfortunately, he was doing so well this game. He was, like, honestly just doing so well, harassing and even defending and deflecting the aggression of Percival. But losing those 2 Colossi in the middle of the map, that was something that he was never able to fully recover from.
Yeah, I feel like that move out was really what lost him the game, because it was all just snowballing from there. And I've been saying that the whole game, that like the army of Bistork just looked very small this whole time. That's why I was not confident in him moving out to the other side of the map, and we did see how that ended. On the side on the note of Bistork, Emperor Fubu mentioning the Kong of Hong Kong. For those who don't know where this nickname comes from, for years there have been 2 players for Hong Kong. It's Gogo Joy and Bistork. And generally Gogo Joy turns out to be the better one, so that's why we're calling Bistork the Kong.
Yes. It's a nickname that he earned himself in our broadcast, in our weekly broadcast, when we used to cover the Oceanic scene on a weekly basis, the Oceanic and Southeast Asian scene, as well as all the Taiwan, Hong Kong qualifiers. Specifically, to delve a little bit further into that nickname, if you don't know what a Kong is, it is kind of an adopted Korean nickname for players that are coming in 2nd place. If you come in 2nd place, you're a Kong. Consistently. And Bistork is consistently kind of 2nd to Gogo Joey.
Yeah, that's why he was named the Kong of Hong Kong. And both of them are now on the same team, and Bistork is actually the analyst for the team. So, you know, he is working on those victories together with Gogo Joey.
Oh, yeah.
So he's definitely not, you know, and no one to underestimate, as we saw in the game as well.
Exactly. I mean, let's be real here. In another world where maybe Bistork was a little bit more careful with his Colossus, he would have won this game. He was so far ahead at that point. Like, he was doing so well, and I'm sure he knew it. I'm sure that's why he moved out, because he felt really good about his position. Unfortunately, you know, things kind of fell apart a little bit, and and Percival was able to come back. But there's a world out there where, yeah, he would have been able to be the king.
Yeah, definitely. But for the time being, Percival is still our king. But Eddie was teasing in the chat. The top 8 players by King of the Hill career maps wins. All haven't played yet today. Maybe we will change that.
Oh. There we go. I mean, let's let's have a look at some of the Wikipedia stats here. I mean, wonder, because
not ByuN. It's not ByuN, because he said that they haven't played today.
Yeah. I know one of those players is like Cham hasn't. The Latin Americans haven't shown up though. So Cham, Special is the other one. Kellezer as well. I wonder if maybe the time for Latin America is upon us.
Maybe. I mean, there would be like, what time is it in Latin America now?
They're waking up. I want to say like 9-ish a.m. 9 to 11 to 12.
Maybe even later than that.
Oh.
But it looks like we do have our next challenger.
Oh, yes, we do. It is not going to be a player from Latin America. It is going to be a Protoss instead, from Europe.
Yes, indeed. So it will not be, and it will not be a Latin American after all. It will be a European, and we will see. What are we gonna see? This is another PVT, right? Yeah. So I guess we're gonna see how Rail approaches this.
Yeah, Rail is going to be coming out here for a chance to contend against and dethrone Percival. Again, Percival had a bit of a a pretty close call there. He was dancing with death for a little bit. Like, he was fighting his heart out because of how behind he was against Bistork. Again, just not letting up, not giving up at all. But that was a scary moment.
By the way, I sure hope this is the right map. Just saying.
Yeah, let's let him know. Because I do not think that this is the correct map. This is this is actually Madis's version. Why?
Yeah, I mean, this is the version of the creator, so I mean, it may be fine, but I don't know what changes have been made since then.
Yeah, because I think that's the version before going through like TLMC and all that stuff.
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. It's like we load in and everything is just dark.
Maybe.
It's all good. The lobby is being made, and you kind of alluded to it, but they are going to be playing on one of the older maps.
Yeah, we are once again going to Nightshade. Like, we can see that these players do like these older maps. They have been picked quite a lot.
Especially from the underdogs, I feel like a lot of the underdogs, they're like, okay, you know, maybe I can catch them a little bit off guard here with some of these older maps that maybe they're not used to, and then just do something crazy on them.
Yeah. So hello to Yoda, who says go birds. As we are now loaded into Nightshade, LE. LE, of course, stands for... Right, what does it stand for?
Liquid endangerment.
You said this before, I'm pretty sure.
That's why I said
anyway,
it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's actually a part of a duct tape.
It is. I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, in the bottom right corner of the map Nightshade, we have our blue Terran player. Representing himself and the South Korea, it is Percival.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Nightshade LE, we have the red Protoss player himself, representing Team GDA. It is Rail.
What do you mean? What happened to the Kuro, please? I'm literally casting. Yeah.
Shaking.
I can't be casting more than I already am.
He's asking for a solo cast. That's what he's asking for. Let's go.
Sure.
Oh god. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Rail, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's the player who is currently living in Poland.
I believe so.
Yes.
As far as I know, he is living in Poland, and as far as I know, he also speaks some Polish. I don't know to what extent, but I do remember when we were casting the eSport tournaments, he was there as well, and he was speaking Polish.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Rail, studying in the land of Poland, assimilating into the country and its people. But we'll see if he can adopt the power of the other Polish Protoss players, you know, because that's kind of the big thing about Poland right now. You know, they have a terrifying fleet of Protoss.
Yeah, no, they do.
Yeah, Cristiano, Gerald, Papi, Art, Rodzin, Ziomek, to name a few. I'm pretty sure there's more.
Yeah, I'm sure there is actually. Like, for some reason in the recent years, like Polish Protoss have been really strong.
Yeah, how could I forget Mana? Mana's the OG.
Yeah, but Mana is the like from the older guard, I would
Yeah,
say.
for sure, for sure. Oh, God.
But yeah, definitely. Like we do have a lot of like really talented Polish Protoss players. I don't know why they're all Protoss, but there you go.
It's just the way it's possible that maybe Mana inspired them because he is one of the older players with a legacy behind him.
See, the thing is, I feel like at the time when they started rising up, like a laser has been more popular than Mana at the time.
Sure, but that's what I mean. When they were becoming pros, it was more about laser. But maybe when they were being introduced to the game, it was about Mana. It's possible. It's possible.
Maybe.
But speaking of things being possible, looking at the vision here of Percival, he was able to confirm the Stargate opener, but it's usually typical for an Oracle to be coming out first. So we see something a little bit different here.
Yeah, we do see that Phoenix going to the other side of the map. It is not a hallucination. It is a real one. And it will be just getting some scouting information for the time being.
Yeah, yo, I'm getting some Starduck vibes right now. Okay, so earlier Ray was able to scout the opener. It was a macro-focused opener. Percival did go for a 1-gas expand into a 1-1-1, what we usually expect to see. Meanwhile, we see a full scout here, and ooh, it looks like the Hellion is going to confirm a second Phoenix coming out.
Yes, indeed, but... Are we just going full Phoenix on this?
Well, this almost looks as if we're going for a mass tech-based army here, where we're going to get a bunch of Phoenixes. We already have a Robo, and Asher would be smoging right now, talking about how Imba Phoenix Colossus is, if we get there.
Maybe. So far, we do have the Robo, so it's definitely possible. And we do have more Phoenixes, so... yeah, I guess that's what we will be going for the time being. Meanwhile, on Percival's side of things, we do have a Cyclone coming up, so that will be helpful dealing with these Phoenixes. We have a Viking as well. But once the numbers of Phoenixes rise, it may actually be difficult.
Yeah, so Nightshade is a bit of a larger map, so I do really like this from Rail on this map specifically. Because it was scouted, it has forced that response that you were talking about. We have mass Vikings and Cyclones coming out to make sure that no damage is done. But Rail, knowing that he got scouted, he's just staying at home. He's just banking up this Phoenix count. And again, the Phoenixes, they provide you map control. They force your opponent to be more defensive. And we can be greedy, tech up, and we have our robotic spear on the way. We will have Colossus coming out. We also have a fast third. So Rail is being pretty greedy, which is kind of why I like Percival pushing out right now. I think right now Rail is at his most vulnerable.
Yeah, that is a really smart move from Percival, just going straight ahead to his opponent. Although there is a bit of an army as a defense force, so we'll see how Percival deals with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Percival was hoping that Rail wasn't making Immortals, that he was being a little bit greedier, but he did go for those safety Immortals instead. Do have a bit of a lock on here on some of these Phoenixes. Widowmite shots are going to be going up here, but the Immortals are going to be able to force this back.
Yeah, and both Cyclones are being picked up as well, so they are not really part of the fight. And yeah, the Terran is being chased away.
Yeah, exactly. Typically, when a Protoss player is greedier, they go into a faster robotics bay, which means that the Colossus coming out are going to be a little bit later, which means there usually isn't an Immortal count like this. But Rail was ready for a counterattack. He was ready for aggression. He just shut it down.
Yeah, and he's actually moving to the other side of the map, and the reinforcements are there for Percival, but there are 2 Immortals in this army.
Yeah, and honestly, it doesn't take him long to focus down tanks, really, of all things. They're going to try and get close, but the boys are being pulled. The tank gets lifted up for a moment. The boys are going to be able to buffer here, and it looks like Percival's going to force us back.
Yeah, that he will, but just barely, as the reinforcements of Rail are coming to this side of the map, and he's not quite done with attacking yet. He's just waiting for more.
Yeah, bearing in mind that we do not have WCS game heart, so we have to count, and it looks like 9 SCVs went down in that little bit of a trade. Percival falling behind when it comes to that economy. Rail, I'm worried that he's overstaying his welcome a little bit here. Like, there's no way to reinforce this army, and he's going to back off a little bit. Just rallying the Colossi across the map, I don't know if that's the best idea.
Yeah, I'm looking at this naked Colossi in the middle of the map, and the Vikings flying around. I'm like, that's a bit risky, just a little bit.
Yeah, it really is, especially with the Viking count that's getting higher, right? We do have Phoenixes to help buffer, and we have continued Phoenix production, to be fair, but this is a little bit risky here for Rail to try and contain his opponent like this.
Yeah, and Percival once again moves out. He does have 3 tanks in his army. He does have some Viking as well. But Ray does have an observer, so he's actually able to spot them all out.
Yeah, he sees the move out. He will back the hell up. He doesn't want to fight here. He doesn't want to engage at all with these tanks. So he will be giving his opponent some time to breathe. But behind this, he's getting fully saturated on 3 bases. And I also like that he's, again, not over extending, right? He's just on the edge here of the army, just making sure he's able to force a siege whenever he moves out.
Yes, indeed. And just getting more and more upgrades, getting his army stronger. But Percival does not stop here, and he fights the Protoss army.
Yeah, once again, forces another siege here, slowing down the push of Percival. Again, Rail is playing with fire just because that Viking count is getting a little bit higher and higher. Once again, Percival unsieging, moving out.
Yeah, these Phoenixes are actually quite damaged, some of them, so these Vikings may be able to deal with them in time, and actually Percival is going around the army.
Rail missed the rotation, by the way. He has no idea where the army is right now. He catches some of the reinforcements and he's being outpositioned.
Yeah, the Terran army is already at his base, at his 4th base, by the way, that he was trying to take down. But it will have to be cancelled unless he is able to sandwich this army.
Yeah, we have a couple of reinforcements coming in from behind. It looks like he's going to be able to get on top of the tanks. Every single tank is going to go down. And it looks like the Colossus is going to be able to clean up everything else on the ground. But what about those Vikings?
Yeah, the Phoenixes are trying to take them down, and just barely they will with the help of Stalkers, and it looks like Protoss will prevail.
Yeah, I thought that Rail was being outpositioned, but really, because of the reinforcements, because of the reinforcing zealots, it looks like Rail was able to sandwich Percival, and Percival just, didn't take a great engagement there. He wasn't even able to deny the fort.
Yeah, he was not able to, and now Rail feels confident to push up this ramp. There is 1 tank on top of it, but he should be able to deal with that.
Yeah, there we go. There's only 1 Phoenix remaining, and even with that 1 Phoenix, is able to CC that tank in the end. Rail pushing out. GG gets called, and hail to the brand new king. Rail does take down Percival.
Yeah, very nicely done from Rail. I guess he did take some power of this, Polish Protoss.
Exactly. He was able to come back, harness the power of Art, Cristiano, Gerald, all of those Polish Protoss players, and he takes down Percival in, again, a pretty convincing fashion. Unfortunately, Percival was hoping that Rail was going to be a little bit greedier when he pushed out with his first army, but it just got crushed. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, very nicely done by Rail. Very impressive game from him. Like, it looked really close when he did move out to the other side of the map, but he was able to, regain his ground and was able to squish this army.
Oh yeah, he really was. He really was. Again, Rail really taking advantage of how large Nightshade is as a map. Taking full advantage of it, and with that, it looks like we have 1 series left, 1 player left. Who's it gonna be?
We will soon find out. As a reminder, this is the last map that is gonna be played today, and if Ray wins, he will be the reigning king for the next weekly, and so can be the other challenger. And as we said, they do get a chance to come back in the next weekly, as well as they do get a bit of a bonus for winning the last map.
They do. Bonuses do exist here. A lot of money to be made. Just to confirm, the last map winner is awarded 15 USD. So that's kind of like double the amount, or just double the amount of a normal win here. So a lot of extra money here on this final map. And yeah, like, honestly, this is a pretty big win for Rail. They were able to stop the win streak before it got too big here, before the king got too much power. But who's it gonna be?
Yeah, who's it gonna be? Are we gonna see any Latin Americans today?
Are we? I believe Master is in the chat right now. Master would be a player out of left field, to be honest.
I mean, Master is pretty good, so that would be interesting.
He is pretty good. He's one of the better Protoss players in Latin America right now. I don't know if he's in the chat just to chill or if he intends to partake.
I don't know.
I'm curious. So if you don't know, go on.
No, I was just gonna say that the other seems a little bit upset about Protoss winning today.
Look, I understand.
Wow, no one's siding with Protoss here. Wow.
Look, I'm allowed to be salty because !B in the chat, everyone. we haven't had a single Zerg win today, okay? I'm allowed to be salty. Not a single Zerg king tonight. Not a single one.
I mean, look. Demi literally went for a link all in.
Oh.
Just saying.
Yes, he did. And we are going to the land of Europe.
Oh boy.
Alright. I'm going to give you some hints. Let's see if you can piece it together.
Hey, I'm closing my eyes. I'm not looking.
First things first. As we go to EU. Team?
Mm-hmm.
Sidestone Gaming.
Is it Nicoract? Revived.
It's not a revive.
Okay, that was important information.
Sidestone Gaming.
Huh?
Do you want the race of the player, or do you want to try and guess from here?
Race.
Protoss.
Protoss. From Sidestorm.
Protoss from Sidestorm.
Oh, who's on Sidestorm right now?
No cheating. Don't look at the Wikipedia page.
I'm not looking.
Protoss
Trying
from
to remember.
Sidestorm.
Like, to be honest, I don't even remember like all the Sidestorm members right now.
Oh my god.
I remember them better when True was on Sidestorm.
True.
This is the funny part.
True.
Because then, like, you know, I like frequently saw the team, so I knew.
Mm-hmm. Do you want a country?
Is it? Yeah, sure, country.
Country will make it pretty obvious. I will be shocked if you don't guess it from the country.
Uh-huh.
Poland.
Is it Gerald?
There you go.
Yeah, I thought so.
The final challenger, mate. His power was invoked in the last series. Rail, you know, took the power of art, the power of Christiana, the power of Gerald. But now, he's like, okay, you borrowed my power. I want it back. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, now we see the battle of the Polish Protoss, in a way.
There we go. There we go.
And light. This is a PvP on Eternal Empire.
Oh, here we go. Another older map here. Eternal Empire LE is going to be coming out. An older map. A very nostalgic map for this final PvP, final series of the night.
I cannot see Eternal Empire PvP and not think about Nib versus Kung Fu Panda.
I know. It's awful.
I will never forget.
Yoda, do you remember? If you're still in the chat, do you remember when we casted Nib versus Kung Fu Panda on this map? I remember.
Yeah, wasn't that a joyful time?
It was something.
Well, anyway, we are now loaded into Eternal Empire LE. LE, of course, stands for Legendary I have nothing.
Huh?
Legendary Elephant, there you go. I was trying to think of something with Protoss, but I couldn't come up with anything. As we have here in the bottom left corner of Eternal Empire, our blue Protoss, representing the Polish Protoss players and Sidestone Gaming. It is Gerald.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the red Protoss player himself representing Team GDA. It is Rail, your current King of the Hill.
Yes, indeed. We have a bit of a PvP, but so far they both seem rather calm, I would say.
Yeah, both players going for a 2-gate opener here, very standard on some of these maps with a ramp here with no ramp on the low ground, I should say. So pretty standard so far. I was curious to see if we were going to have some probes on the map because Eternal Empire is a very large map. There's a lot of space, there's a lot of room for proxies.
Oh yeah. I remember that this was like back when this was in the map orb, like people were saying that this is a macro map because it's so big, and like 90% of the time it will be some cheese on this map because there will always be a proxy somewhere.
I love in the chat. Who is it? It's Henry Cavill. Bamboozled again, Kuro.
Not again.
Would Henry Cavill really be... Oh wait, no, yeah, okay, nah. I see. I was about to say, would he really be Protoss? But I understand what he's saying now.
It took me a moment, but I understood.
The thing is, when someone says Henry Cavill, I think Superman. Then I was like, oh no, yeah, it's Gerald. Yeah.
Yeah, because for those who are not aware, he does play Gerald, the Witcher, in the Witcher series.
Yeah, he plays as Gerald. He is Gerald. And not a bad Geralt either. It's very good.
Yeah, he's doing pretty fine.
Oh boy, but here we go. We are getting into our game here. Unfortunately, we didn't even get to play our favorite game. Which two units come out first? Rael going to be the aggressor here with 2 Adepts coming out across the map. Geralt playing much more standard here with his 2 Stalkers.
Yes, indeed. And we do see a Stargate on the side of Geralt as well.
Yeah, Stargate is being thrown down here. So Geralt is delaying his natural for faster tech. Rael is delaying his tech for faster economy, basically, for a natural. So we do have a little bit of a shift here between our players. Rael has to get eyes on this. Unfortunately, his Adepts are stuck across the map because of these 2 Stalkers. These Adepts are trying desperately to avoid them, to try and sneak out. But so far, the scouting, and because of the Zolnaga as well, Geralt has been able to keep up with them.
Yeah, so no scouting information for Ray so far. And it is an Oracle coming from the side of Gerald, so he will be able to fly to the other side of the map. Meanwhile, Rael opts in for the ground army, putting down his Twilight Council.
Yeah, Twilight Council in the way, so he will have a faster blink as a result, but already a couple of Adepts are being taken down. Rael with the reinforcements is going to be able to clean this up, though at the same time, Geralt sneaks in, and Rael wasn't paying attention. Adepts get into the main.
Yeah, he actually has to recall his units back to the base, and the Stalkers should be able to deal with them, but not before 6 probes fall down.
Yeah,
my brain just merged 4 and 5.
Look, it's okay. We're almost done. This is the final game here of the tournament. At the same time, Oracle sips on in. Thankfully, that recall was a bit of a blessing in disguise because the Stalkers are now here in position in the main base, and the Oracle doesn't really get much done at all.
Yeah, it is being shot away by the Stalkers, and Geralt makes another Oracle but does not follow up with more, instead getting a Twilight Council of his own.
Yeah, exactly. Geralt, despite the fact that his natural is later, he's ahead in workers right now. Rael will catch up because he can make 2 probes at a time, so because of that, Geralt needs to keep the pressure up. He can one-shot workers. He's going back into the main base. There are some Stalkers in position, but only 3 Stalkers, no shield battery. There's still potential for damage.
Yes, indeed. As these Adepts are moving to the other side of the map now.
Oh, yeah, they are
The Oracles are waiting, so there will be a double prong.
Yeah, again, Geralt wants to force a reaction here. Here we go. The 2 Adepts are going to look to try and slip on in. There is no wall. The wall is not a wall. They get into the main base, and even though the Oracles don't do damage, the Adepts will.
Yeah, the 2 probes, 3 probes already going down. They are focusing on the probes while the Oracles are behind to distract the Stalkers. And they may get kills as well if Ray is not careful.
Yeah, exactly. Just tanking 1 volley there, and it looks like 6 more probes go down. Geralt maintaining his worker lead, and now he has 2 of his Nexus up and running. With these Oracles, he also scouts a 3rd base that's on the way, so he can take his own.
Yes, indeed. These Oracle, meanwhile, are still staying at Ray's side of the map, putting down this stasis ward. So if there is a worker transfer to the 3rd base, it may very well get stasis right there and delay it even farther.
Yeah, exactly. So again, Rael has to be careful. I'm sure Geralt with his units, he wants to bait a fight and he wants to drag the army here towards that towards that 3rd CC, 3rd Nexus.
Yeah, and actually there are absolutely no forces here right now, so the Stalkers may be able to actually just straight up get a cancel on the 3rd.
Oh, exactly. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He can either move his army over or he can lose his economy right now with these 2 Oracles. Meanwhile, the stasis!
Ooh, takes down most of the Stalkers, so there will be not enough to fight this force, but there is a sentry to help them out.
There is a sentry in a couple of seconds. Blink is going to finish up. Geralt actually finishing Blink first.
Yeah, and he's able to get some damage on the Stalkers, but actually not able to kill them. Ooh, now snipes them, but that took a lot of effort to take one down.
Yeah, he loses 1 more in the process. At the same time, the Oracles did one in. Oh my god, they get 2 sentries. Well worth it here. It looks like the Oracles are going to eventually go down, but getting 2 sentries like that, as well as some probes, as well as that stasis earlier, like Geralt has been able to just out multitask Rael.
Yeah, very nicely done from Geralt's side of things, and let's see what the next point in his plan is. Looks like he's massing even more Stalkers, and he just keeps the pressure on the side of Rael.
Yeah, exactly. The robo's still on the way. There is no prism, there is no proxy pylon, so Gerald can't really reinforce too heavily. So the defender's advantage for Rail is going to be insane. At the same time, Oracle tries to dip one in, again distracting Rail a little bit as that main army pushes in towards the third.
There are Stalkers here to defend, but there's not enough of them anymore. And with good micro, Gerald should be able to take to do a lot of damage.
Can he get the third? Can he get the third? He's investing so much. He blinks it forward. He's going to get the Nexus.
Yeah, he takes it down and recalls the rest of the army. Not a lot of the Stalkers will be saved, but still very nicely done for Gerald.
Oh my god, very ballsy play here, but honestly, that could be his undoing. As we move out across the map right now, we do have Rail with the Stalker lead. He's forced to counterattack. He has to counterattack. He has to do some damage across the map. He hasn't been able to this entire game. Gerald has to prepare.
He does not have a lot of units at home. He was trying to delay the army with these few Stalkers, and he will try to once again stop Ray on the ramp. But I don't think Ray wants to stop.
Yeah, Rail doesn't want to stop, mate. He is not on the rails, not anymore. He does have the Stalker advantage right now. Ooh, but with the shield batteries, with the cannons, it's going to be hard to break that third base.
Yeah, the Stalkers of Gerald are starting to fall down. They're not in range of the shield batteries. So this is actually a very close fight.
Oh, exactly, but the blinks are good enough. The overcharge is popped, and Immortal is coming out for Gerald. So he does have the defender's advantage. He will have the better army, and there it is. The first Immortal is out.
Yeah, with the Immortal, the defense for Gerald should definitely be much easier, as Ray still has purely a Stalker army, and you know there is no War Priest to reinforce this army, so they just have to walk from the other side of the map.
Exactly. Prism is on the way. Don't get us wrong. We have a Dark Shrine as well. Again, when behind Dark Shrine, Rail knows he has to do something crazy to come back in this game after losing that third base. Ooh, as he does take a lot of shots to the face, and he is losing. He's bleeding out a lot of Stalkers.
Gerald's still being quite bold with his blinks, but he does get some Stalkers for it, and this Immortals is still there undamaged.
Oh yeah, still undamaged. Another Stalker will fall. We do see Gerald backing up, and I love this. Gerald, he is keeping his advantage right now. He doesn't quite go for a fourth base as quickly as he could have. Instead, he goes for a much faster Robotics Bay.
An interesting choice, definitely. Could go for some Disruptors, I guess, to deal with that Stalker army. But in the meantime, he is taking this base on the front with the rich gas.
Oh yeah, there is a rich Vespene gas here for Gerald that he can take advantage of. So he's going to have the better economy, he's going to have the better army. The one advantage that I would say Rail has right now is the Dark Shrine. It's about to finish up, and DTs could do some damage here. Looking at the bases, we don't have any cannons. There was a cannon at the third earlier, but it was picked off. It is being remade though.
Yeah, there are no cannons. There is one cannon in the third base. Now, I think there is maybe one observer. Let me see. Yeah, the Gerald has exactly one observer. So if the DTs manage to go in, that may actually be very risky.
Oh, exactly. Depending on where the DTs go, they can definitely find some damage. Bearing in mind that the Dark Shrine has not been scattered. At the same time, we do have a couple of devs sneaking out across the map, headed towards that third base location. Rail does end up losing his observer in the end, but DTs do get warped in, and oh, actually he opts to morph them directly into Archons.
He may do that as well. Definitely will have his army there. As this is a mostly Stalker army for Gerald, when Rail actually has changed the composition a little bit.
Yeah, he has Charge Ults and now he has Archons. So right now, Gerald has the better army outside of Disruptors. Ooh, actually, okay, there we go. Charge is already researched here. We do have 2 Adepts wreaking havoc, getting 6 probe kills. Oof.
Yeah, once again, putting the economy of Rail even more behind than it was before. So Ray is really pressured to make his move, and he's deciding to go to the high ground.
Yeah, he tries to outposition the army, but the Disruptor is now out. We have the Blink going forward, baiting out those Charge Ults. The first Nova goes off, and it does not connect, only getting a single Zealot.
Yeah, it's more of a zoning one, definitely. But the army of Ray is still staying there while he's taking a fourth base of his own.
Yeah, exactly. Rail is doing a great job at just pulling Geralt a little bit apart, but that Prism is so exposed. Geralt can definitely take this fight. Novas can go off at the same time. The Rail is raining down on that Mineral Line.
Yeah, Ray split his army, and Geralt wanted to chase it, but the most of this army, of Ray's army, is actually here on the high ground, and he will now try to fight it.
Yeah, man, he's going for a master round right now. A couple of Novas are going to be going off, getting a decent connection here on these Archons, but is this the best position for Geralt?
He's getting sandwiched a little bit, but at the same time, the reinforcements of Gerald are coming from the left side as well, and it may be just enough to fight Rail.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to lose every single one of his disruptors, but the Stalkers are just a little bit too much here. Gerald will take the fight. He will clean up the army. He lost a lot of units, he lost a lot of workers, but it doesn't even matter. GG gets called, and Gerald takes it. He takes down the King in Rail, and he becomes our brand new King of the Hill.
Yeah, and the final king of the weekly. So once again, he does get that bonus for being the last king of the hill for this week.
GG. Masterful play there by Gerald. Like, specifically when it comes to his harass. Like, he was all over Rail from the start of the game, to be honest.
Yeah, it was really nicely done. Like, yeah, he was controlling the scouting from Rail from the very beginning. Then he was getting a lot of damage with both Oracles and Adepts, and yeah, he was just commanding the game most of the time.
Oh yeah, it was very impressive. Just again, keeping control and just keeping his lead when it comes to the economy. It was very ballsy and impressive that he was able to get a snipe on the third Nexus as well. If you remember, like all of this alongside the Oracle harass and the Adept harass, it all just forced Rail more and more and more all in. That's why the pressure was on him to be active on the map and to deal damage and to go for that big gateway push at that fourth base. Bearing in mind, he was behind a base at the time. He was behind 20 workers at the time as well. He had to deal damage then and there.
Yeah, definitely. But in the end, the Polish Protoss player is reigning supreme, I guess. And we have Gerald as our king for the weekly 107.
All hail the new king. Gerald is going to be able to take control of his throne, and if he accepts, he will be the first player returning for OSC King of the Hill 108, the next edition of this tournament. He will start, and we'll see how long his reign will last.
Yes, indeed. We do not know when exactly the next one will be or what channel it will be casted on, so make sure to keep in touch with OSC Esports social media.
Yeah. Make sure you keep an eye out on the social medias, on our social medias as well. As I do refresh this bracket a little bit here, and there we go. We can all see the matches for today. ByuN started out very strong, taking down so many big names. Then we had the upset. Nicoract had his time in the sun. MindelVK went for a surprising run. NoMercy came out of nowhere for the first time in an OSC King of the Hill and got his own first win. Like, there was, again, a lot of exciting games today.
Yeah, definitely some interesting stories this time. With some banters in between as well.
Yeah.
So I do recommend to you watch the VODs of the earlier games if you were not here.
Definitely. So check out the Wikipedia page, !B in the chat if you want to have a look at the page yourself. Of course, you can always check out the VODs if you want to watch the games themselves, as they will be available on Twitch and eventually on our YouTube channel. As again, this is a bit of a unique tournament style. It's something that doesn't happen often enough. Yeah, it's just great because, again, it's a little bit unique. It's a little bit out of the norm. It's very fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to see that there is a regular tournament, doing this different kind of format. And as we said, like, it gives a lot of opportunity to like different players, because as I said, like, if you lose, then like, it's not a lot of investment to play that single game. But if you win, you may just earn some money, and with a best of one, everything is possible.
Oh yeah, anything is possible, as we saw here today, as we did see. So everyone in the chat, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I hope we all had a good time together here. Again, Smudge, if you're a Zerg player, 0 wins for Zergs today, but maybe you should persuade your favorite Zerg player to be a part of this tournament and to get involved. Yeah, it's definitely open. It's open to anyone if they become an OSC Elite member. So, yeah, you should at your favorite Zerg players. It would be nice to see, instead of a King of the Hill, a Queen of the Hill. Like Scarlet coming out of nowhere or something like that. Just to name drop a couple of Zerg players. Yeah, I know Sola used to be a lot more active in the OSC events back in the day as well. Nowadays, not as much.
Also, Eddie is giving us a fun fact that it is the 5th time that Gerald has been king.
Oh, there you you go. Yeah, Gerald, and a mainstay in this region, a mainstay in this tournament series. Very strong player, very strong.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, right, where can we find more of the StarCraft casting? Let's start with that.
The StarCraft casting?
Yes.
If you want to tune into more of our CranKy Duckling broadcasts, you can follow us all over the place. CranKy Ducklings on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, ! Socials in the chat. If you want to get links to our social media, we post whenever we go live. And yeah, I don't think we didn't post today, unfortunately, for OSC King of the Hill, but usually we post whenever we go live. Usually we're on top of that sort of thing. We're just a little bit busy today because it was back-to-back broadcasts, so forgive us for that. But yeah, we post in our Discord server as well, so consider following us if you want to, be here, if you want to be a part of it. If you enjoyed our casting, then we got you covered. Yeah,
and if someone, instead of watching another cast, wants to see someone play the game and chill with some nice music and talk to the chat, where should they go?
Light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I do stream on my personal channel, and we like to have fun on my stream. We like to just chill, listen to some music, smooge sometimes, and struggle on the ladder. Today you saw 0 Zerg players win. On my stream, you'll also see 0 Zerg players win.
That is not true. Last time you streamed, you did have a win stream.
Yeah, copium. So if you're interested in that, you can follow me on my personal channel. Otherwise, all of the casting is done here on the CranKy Ducklings. But speaking of personal channels, Kuro, the casting Jersey herself, where can people find more of you?
If you want to find more of me, I am usually streaming at Twitch TV/16squad but usually it's not StarCraft. Every now and then I do a small ladder session, but generally it's other games like Final Fantasy XIV, like some of the story games. Like recently I finished a playthrough of Stray, and I'm currently planning which game to play next. So a bit more of a chill time on my stream, but if you want to, you can follow there. Or you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/16squads, where I mostly retweet StarCraft stuff and sometimes cats.
Sometimes cats. The animal, not the...
Sometimes ducks.
Not the caster.
I mean... Look.
Oh god. So yes, you can follow us on our personal stuff, or you can follow us on the CranKy Ducklings, whatever you so choose. If you want to support us, all the money that we make here on Twitch as well as Patreon, it all goes towards our tournaments, and it all goes towards our players. You may have heard of the CranKy Ducklings because we are also a pro team, and we also qualified for World Team League Code S. So we are going to be in the main event for World Team League, and our players are practicing very hard for that, alongside DreamHack. DreamHack is a priority, but they're also investing their time into World Team League as well. And wish them the best of luck, because in a couple of weeks we are going to be competing amongst the best of the best out there in StarCraft.
Oh yeah, definitely. You should, guys, send us your quacks, send us your energy, because it will not be an easy road, but we will try our best.
It won't be easy, definitely. I know that we are coming in as a dark horse and as the underdogs. There are definitely some beatable teams though, so I'm confident that we can get some wins on the board. But going up against teams like Dragon Phoenix Gaming or Shopify Rebellion or Onside Gaming, I know that those are going to be more one-sided. We're not delusional about it by any means, but we do want to show some good games and maybe cause some upsets. We're going to have a good time.
I am still so looking forward to playing Onside.
I know, it's gonna be so much fun. We're going full circle. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play against Onside in the qualifiers, in Code A, but we will play them in the main event in the round robin format, and it's gonna be great.
I sure hope so. I hope our players can show up in that specific match, especially.
Yeah. We have a lot of history with Onside Gaming, so it'll be great to be there. But with that, thank you so much everyone for watching. Kuro, do you have anything you want to add before we head off?
Make sure to join our Discord to find out more about what we are up to, and check out the tournaments that we run or cast.
There you go. There you go. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Quack. Quack. Stick around. We're going to give someone a bit of a raid. Looking at the live channels right now, we are going to send our love over to Acheron, the Spanish Terran player. He is live right now. I don't think he streams too often, but he is streaming some practice right now. It looks like he's laddering until he plays against Trifax. So yeah. Give him some love. Give him some love.
Another Polish player.
There you go. Until then, our next broadcast is going to be in a couple of days. I believe ESL Open Cup Asia. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in a couple of days.
Bye.
Ciao.